Sure.
Hit it.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen?
What the fuck?
It's red all day for a good reason. See, there's red. There's red. Jay's got red. Kyle's got red. Brian's got red somewhere in there. But it's all for a specific reason.
Oh.
Yeah, guys. It's the core back again. Once again, guys, we have hit that.
All right, it's okay.
Okay. We're back again, guys. The team is back together to get this shit done finally, to get our official roundtable for Deadpool. We were gonna do it last week, but time shift messed up. Go ahead.
Yes. And to name the cast.
Yeah, I was gonna do that.
Nope, I'm taking your spot.
Oh, you're taking my spot.
It's me, Malcolm Hopeland 93. It's Christopher Vernon Kid. It's Jay, Mr. J. Jeremy. It's Emperor Kyle, Mr. Longwolf 96.
No, he just called Kyle. He just called Kyle.
There's Brian. Brian K.
Yeah.
It's just Emperor Kyle. It's Emperor Kyle to you guys.
Yeah. So we're back, guys. Once again, we're gonna just wrap our minds around Deadpool. You know. Also answer your questions on the side comments below. If you got questions about the Merc with a Mouth, and please keep it with involving Deadpool, not anything else. We'll do a Q&A for the core sometime in the future. Don't worry, we'll get back to doing those again. But for now, we're talking about Deadpool.
That's what we're saying. And we're talking about Deadpool. So that means you don't want to see something in the comment about Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, I know where that comes from. But first of all, let me first of all, the one thing I wanted to talk about as well is just how good this movie is doing at the box office. All right, found out. We all know the budget of this movie. This movie had a $58 million budget. Okay, now box office wise, Malcolm, how much that they making now?
Let me see here. 120.6 million.
100.
100.
Yeah, I know you. Yeah, 520.6 million. That's at the box office. So right there.
Don't forget. And counting.
Yeah, and still counting. So that right there shows, gentlemen, that it quadrupled it's what it was needed to make it. So yeah, we got a hit here.
It's a box office success.
It's a box office success. This was a movie that Malcolm and I said could be kind of a make or break for.
It was the make or break. It's basically the final. It could have been like the final nail in the coffin for Ryan Reynolds. I was honest when I said if this didn't do well, then I don't know what else Ryan Reynolds could do.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, let's look at it from a standpoint of after Lantern. All right.
I don't even think that movie deserves that name.
Yeah. Okay. Well, after that debauchery, you follow Mr. Reynolds' career, guys, and you see that a lot of his other movies were tanking at the box office. That R.I.P.D., which was another comic-based movie, tanked.
That was shit.
Tanked.
Wait a minute. Well, all of his movies as him as the leading cast, the leading actor, because I don't think Safe House failed.
No.
Of him and Denzel Washington.
Yeah, that didn't fail.
Yeah. Malcolm has a point. The movies with him as the lead are the ones that tanked.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the ones that he starred in as the lead. But his latest Barry was good. That came out before.
Yeah, I think that was 2011 as well, or 2010, I believe. But
yeah. I think that was around the same time as Lantern. Like I went.
Bless you. Random sneeze.
Bless you.
Yeah, but right before Deadpool, he was doing mostly like low budget things like Selfless.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Buried only in like it's an independent? Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
but Brian bring up Selfless. That was like his latest movie before Deadpool had came out. And
Yeah, I don't
That
know.
even tanked.
And I don't know. And before he did that, the movie with Sir Ben Kingsley.
that's what we're talking
That's
about.
I don't think that's tanked though. Did that tank?
I think look, I'm always under the impression when after a movie comes out and it doesn't get one of those at least some critic TV spot. Sure enough, that's probably a sign that it's a box office failure.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the point is that this one he really had to nail for Mr. Reynolds, and you know he worked his ass off to make sure we got the true essence of this character. I think,
Especially the basically Deadpool was like toothpaste to get the bad taste out of Deadpool Baraka.
yeah, I think what a lot of people don't understand, and I think this is kind of a good because people think, oh, because it was R-rated, it worked, and that was really what sold it. I think this movie just proved that if you really stay true to the characters
Just
and
keep the essence.
and
of
keep the essence and the homage to the people who have really brought this character around, then you'll have a success. You know?
Yeah, and also, not to interrupt you, Chris or Malcolm, Ryan Reynolds. It took Ryan Reynolds, and Ryan Reynolds has said in interviews, it took him 11 years to get this movie off the ground. 11 yeave. Could you imagine, wanting to play a character that you love, and Ryan Reynolds loves Deadpool. I mean, you have to have that much tenacity and just patience to play a character like this. And I mean, could you just imagine not getting anywhere for like 11 years almost, or even just 10, and then it finally happens, after test footage comes out, and it's like, oh my God, So that's to be, commended as well. This guy fought for this movie a lot, very hard.
Oh yeah, he was a champion for this movie from the get-go. I wouldn't be surprised if he or a friend of his was the one that leaked the test footage.
Yeah, the leaked test footage. Yeah, he's even joked about it, saying that he's 70% sure it wasn't him.
Well, just want to give a shout out. We have Nathan Banks in the comment section. Hey Nathan.
Hi, Nathan.
What's up, Nate?
You know, I think so. Like we said, guys. Mr. Reynolds really worked his butt off for this movie, and you could say that all that hard work it paid off.
And for 11 years of trying to get it off the ground, I think it would have been a moral and a spiritual a confidence blow if Deadpool wasn't successful.
And I think one of the other main reasons is, I mean, let's look at it. I mean, I've said it before, guys. I'm not the biggest Deadpool fan. I don't collect his books. I've always been more of I'm gonna read his stuff if somebody else is with him. Like I'll read that. Like his Cable, when he was with Cable, I read that, and I read now with him and Spider-Man. But I don't read any of that stuff. But the fact is that because of this, I think it was the thing of also was like it was for us fans to really get that bad taste of what the comedy gave us. And if anybody doesn't know what I mean by the comedy,
One of the best superhero comedies out there.
yeah, then you should know it's Wolverine Origins. Me and Kyle could pick that movie apart and just laugh at it still to this day. But yeah, it really tended guys to really give us, okay, now there's Deadpool. Now, because sometimes we fans, we don't want to just be remembered that was the only appearance of this character and it was bad. I mean, when we saw that character in that comedy, it was just like, I'm like, are you kidding me?
No, wait a minute. That was until the end.
Yeah.
When we saw Ryan Reynolds as just Wade, he was all like, okay, we can see the signs.
Okay,
he's
The beginning,
but then
it was like, okay,
I mean, the first 20 minutes of that movie in general was good. Like the first 20 minutes of Wolverine was good, and then after that, it's just like a slow descent into hell.
Yeah, until you get to the end, where Barakapool has like almost every single mutant
Fuck
power
that
to date.
shit, man. That's gonna be my catchphrase for this entire fucking live show. Fuck that shit. Just oh my god.
So yeah, let's well, like you said, guys, everybody's gonna get a chance. We're gonna just talk about this, and so I think we'll start off with Malcolm here. You know, he's gonna kick it off. So first impressions of the movie. What did you think?
I thought it was 5 bloody chimichangas. Well, that day was Friday.
Yeah, we.
No.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll basically delve into our experience at the movie theater. Probably one of the only times when me and Chris went to movie theaters, and we were probably the only people in there. And I don't think that was because it was Deadpool. I'm believing that since we saw a early afternoon showing.
Yeah, we saw 4:45 in the IMAX. We saw IMAX.
So probably the later shows were gonna be packed.
Yeah.
But us being by ourselves, that means all the laughter was just coming off from us. Yeah. So it was almost as if we was watching it almost in a bigger size of our own house. You know.
We thought other people was in there because we kept hearing something.
One person.
Yeah, one other person
being very quiet.
Yeah, but we saw it. We were sitting there and we're like, "Are we the only ones gonna be in here?" We looking around and
then after the movie's over, I just see the Jen just comes just going. Yeah. I'm like, oh, you enjoyed the show too. You enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I'll say this, guys. It looked very crisp and more refined in the IMAX.
I couldn't tell it, bro.
I
really wasn't paying attention.
But you could tell it. You could tell, like, certain movies when you're in IMAX, like when we saw 300 in IMAX, you can see the difference.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell because 300 is so full of green screen.
Yeah, well,
we saw Dark Knight.
Yeah, we saw Dark Knight in IMAX. Yeah, we saw that.
But once again, I couldn't tell because the lighting is so dark.
Yeah. But other than that, you enjoyed it, right?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of Deadpool. I mean, it had been a while since going to see basically a comedy movie. Because the thing about Deadpool is action comedy, and I couldn't even remember the last comedy I've ever seen. Oh yeah, the last comedy thing seeing was, if you don't count Wolverine Origins, was Pineapple Express.
Yeah, that was
I think that was the last comedy.
That was the last comedy.
And that was 2000.
Wow, that's been a long time. Dang.
Yeah.
The last comedy I ever seen in the movie theater was Pineapple Express. So seeing Deadpool, I was like, okay. And the breaking the fourth wall, I enjoyed. Breaking the fourth wall within breaking the fourth wall, typical Deadpool was hilarious.
The 16th wall break. That was great.
Yeah, the 16th wall. And the one thing I liked about most of the jokes from Deadpool, and I think what makes a good joke in movies or in show is if it's mostly an insult, if it's almost what we're thinking. For example, when me and Chris first saw the guy who was basically going to lead him into Weapon X, and he's just standing there.
Yeah, man.
And immediately when Wade basically said, basically like you raise your hand, immediately I was laughing because I'm like, that's the same thing I'm thinking. Like, who just waiting for him?
He should have seen his face. He was sitting there.
Next thing Mr. Wade.
He looked like a pedophile. I was like,
what if I told you that you could?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd say you sound like an infomercial.
You know what he reminded me of?
What if I told you? You could
the creepy version of Coulson.
Oh, yeah, I never looked at it like
I didn't
think about that. That works perfectly. Oh man, I'm never gonna look at Clark Gregg the same way ever again.
Yeah,
so maybe he was supposed to be. Maybe that's supposed to be a play or Coulson. Like, this is the creepy version of Coulson.
But no, okay. So, but you enjoyed it, right? That overall, you did. Right?
Yeah, especially Colossus.
We're gonna get to Colossus. Okay. We're gonna go this way, left to right. From the panel, you see the below. So, Brian, your overall thoughts of the movie. Go.
All right. Hindsight, because we've waited a while. I realize that it's not perfect, but I will say it's freaking awesome. I loved it, and it was just a really fun ride.
Okay.
It brought the fun, which movies rarely do nowadays.
Enjoy the ride.
All right. And okay, Kyle.
Okay. Just we're not going to talk. We're going to have like a section for story and all that later. We're just general thoughts.
General thought right now. We're gonna get into the story next. Hit it.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. General thoughts. Just first experience. Just first experience in the movie theaters. I had a blast with this movie. Just all around, it was an entertaining, at times very thought-provoking film. I mean, not to the sense like Winter Soldier thought-provoking, but you get what I mean. For an origins flick like this, and the jokes were kind of like 80-20 for me. Whenever there wasn't a joke that like worked for me, there was always another one that like worked instantly, which I think is one of the best compliments I can give a Deadpool movie, because a lot of comedy Deadpool has just doesn't work for me. This is a movie that shouldn't, like, on paper, I should hate, because, and Malcolm can tell you, I hate raunchy comedies. I don't like comedies nowadays. They're just not my thing. And this was like a superhero movie that looked like it would be entertaining, but it was probably going to be like a bad story, like Ant-Man or Guardians for me. But it held together as a generally good cohesive piece. I enjoyed it, like, basically in the theaters. It was wonderful. Me and my sister were just dying of laughter at times. So yeah, that's my general thoughts just in the theaters.
Because Kyle says that a lot of these comedies now are just filled with dick jokes after dick jokes.
Racist jokes, sexist jokes. Hey, you don't believe me? Watch like any Will Ferrell movie.
Oh, God.
Oh, don't even bring up Zoolander.
Jeremy, go ahead, Mr. J.
All right, so I saw this movie on opening weekend or Valentine's Day weekend. So I saw it twice, because I saw it once with my best friend on Friday, and then on Saturday I saw it with my girlfriend on Valentine's Day. And I'll tell you, like, Deadpool is actually a really good date movie, because it's a rom-com. It's a rom-com when you really think about it. And it's actually one of the best rom-coms that came out on Valentine's Day weekend. Like, when you really think about it, Deadpool at its core is just a revenge story with it's also a romance, and the romance is probably actually a really good part of it, and I liked it a lot. I laughed my ass off. I usually take Deadpool in small doses, so I never am really huge on Deadpool, but man, I fucking loved this movie.
It's funny that Jay says, about it being a date movie, because basically one of the, I guess, controversial lines in the movie was when Deadpool basically said, I know your boyfriend dragged you to see this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, for some reason that's like.
I definitely dragged my girlfriend to see it, but she was happy about it because she hates Deadpool, but she loves that movie.
You see, when I was talking to a friend Nate, and he brought up, I'm not sure if that line, I don't think you needed that line, but okay. So I just typed to make sure to see if something does go on with this line. Next thing I'm just seeing Reddit, and everything. And you got people on YouTube, because IGN did a review, and I guess they brought it up, but you have people in the comments, man, IGN, these guys, they don't have any sense of humor. He's like, I can tell you what, there was most of all the females in my theater actually laughed when he said that. And I was like,
and you know what? All honesty, I'll be thinking that too, because there are times I look at IGN, I'm like, why am I watching these guys that time?
No, what else upset you with IGN? Just a quick side note. I remember when Black Lightning. they
were showcasing the 100 heroes. Yeah, that pissed me
Next
off.
up, Black Lightning.
Yeah, so cute. But okay, I guess it's my turn. Well, honestly, like I said, I'm really happy with this movie. I loved I like how the movie segued it, like, in and out of past and present. Like, It did it well. It did it. Hey,
Oh,
it did
yeah.
it better than Arrow does it. It did. Come
I'm
on.
hoping Spider-Man takes notes and does something like this.
Because
Like,
the way they
like
said
in terms of
I
the
thought it was
structure.
really good. And then it gave us right back up to where it first began.
It kind of felt like Pulp Fiction being
Yeah.
non-linear.
Yeah, like non-linear. Yeah, that's the word.
Because
Non-linear.
because
It's
the opening
it's an in medias res type of story.
because the opening sequence is basically the freeway.
Yeah, the freeway.
The
scene,
opening
which
credit scene is the
which is
freeway.
one of my favorites. So we're gonna get into that too. But yeah, I thought it was great. And
No.
okay. So yeah. So other than that, we all thought it was great. I mean, I can't deny it wasn't. But let's go on to the story wise. Story wise, you want to start off with you again, or
All right, plain and simple. A guy named Wade Wilson. He has cancer.
now he had how many cancers? He didn't just have it in one place. He had it in a couple of places.
Well, when
It
it's
has
all
like 6
together,
different cancers.
well, when it's all together, it's just the big C.
Yeah.
He had the big C, and then he became the big DP. There you go.
I thought, for me personally, the way they told his origin of him going from being this kind of soldier, but he kept going on, they kept saying that he was discharged, honorably discharged, till we found out he was dishonorably discharged, and then we see him get his cancer, he meets Copycat, aka Vanessa.
Oh, wait a minute. No, remember, he's Vanessa before he finally diagnosed with cancer. He just falls out.
Falls out.
After taking a piss, yeah.
Yeah, he was taking a piss. And then we get creepy recruiter, and we get to see
Let's just call him Evil Coulson from now on.
Evil Coulson. Yeah, Evil Coulson basically asks him, here we can give you abilities. I mean, and then I love that line. I think you sound like a cheap info commercial. Shake weighty. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
You seem kind of shake weighty.
Shake weighty.
Not even a good kind of infomercial.
And of course, then we saw him go through him thinking about it. Like right there was like, do I want to do this in terms of, hey, I want to be with Vanessa, aka Copycat, and he leaves her. It's just like,
good that you bring that up, because despite Deadpool being an action comedy, and I remember our good friend Ian, when he put his review on Facebook, and what he touched on was very good, was that despite being like an action comedy, the serious parts actually held their own weight as well.
Exactly.
Like scenes like
that scene. And when we saw him going through the trials with Ajax, it really, you felt that. It wasn't like, I was just like,
I thought it was gonna be like dark comedy.
When they're putting him through all this torture, I'm like, man, like cutting off his oxygen, putting up the CO2, and I'm like, dude, like, how are you surviving this? And him still be able to crack a joke over to like.
So funny.
Nobody keeps your sense of humor.
Yeah, his name is Ajax. He ripped it off with a clean detergent.
Francis.
Yeah.
Francis.
Really, really, those scenes really gave you felt for Wade in those, like, damn. And then when he
think about a character like Deadpool, it's probably when you see Deadpool, you get to know Deadpool now.
Yeah.
He's not really a character that you're supposed to sympathize with.
Yes, but you sympathize with him in this, and especially at the end when he breaks free and then he's about to, and the plant blows up, and you're just like, yo. And so one thing about that was really good. The story really, I thought the story flowed very well, and Wade being fast paced, but it kept you interested, as well as Wade just being Wade. Like breaking and turn around and then like, who are you talking to? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to them. It's just like
It's not the most elaborate story.
No.
It's just
No.
it's,
But it doesn't need to be though.
Yeah,
Like, it really doesn't need to be.
It's Deadpool. You're not, and I hate to say that, because I don't give like movies this thing. It's Deadpool. You're not going to get a Batman Begins out of it. You're not going to get a character study. You're going to get a generic kind of movie with a solid plot. A solid story all the way through. It's Deadpool. Deadpool's never been a deep character. Not like Captain America, Spider-Man, or etc. He's Deadpool, literally. Like,
Yeah,
that's
Deadpool's as deep as the kiddie pool, pretty much. Like that's how you can put it.
with Deadpool, it's like how Stone Cold said, "What you see is what you get."
Exactly. Thank you.
And if you don't like it, tough luck.
tough luck. It was just what it was, So other than that, I thought the story flowed very well. It did what it was. It did what it was meant to do. Personally, for me.
Yeah.
So okay, Brian, go ahead.
I really like the story, and just to piggyback on what you were saying about the seriousness, there were good moments like when he said, "Do right by me so I can do right by someone else."
Mm-hmm.
And then he also bonded with that fellow experiment guy.
Yeah.
He did.
Yep.
And you see him die, and then he's like, wait, and it's like, oh man, that really hurts you even more.
Yeah,
I was like,
and you get some serious moments, but they also knew how to juggle serious with comedy, because yeah, it was like right after the "Do Right by Me," or before it, I can't remember which, he makes a crack about Green Lantern.
Don't make the suit super green.
Don't make the green or animated. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I do like how the story. It was cliche, granted, but it was cool, and I also like how part of the story is him actually getting help, like him admitting that he needs help at the end.
Yeah. It's basically, in a nutshell, the generic plot, but because of the character Deadpool, it turns a generic plot into an over-the-top. That's what basically Deadpool is, over-the-top character.
Right.
Yeah, and the non-linear way that they told the story helped with the clichéness, and also just like Ryan Reynolds' personality and just the little things here and there, like how he finally catches up with Creepy Coulson and he just says, "No, you don't need to see this."
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When he caught what do we call him? Evil Coulson, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah,
Mr. Wilson. He sounded like a creepy Dennis the Menace. Mr. Wilson. I was like,
Wilson is also a character of
Castaway.
Yes,
Castaway.
Yep.
Get it.
Wait,
All right, Kyle. Next, hit it.
One, I'm going to touch on just a couple things. Very minute. We've kind of mentioned, like we said, it's a basic plot, so it's really easy just to talk about it with one person. I love Deadpool's motivation in this movie. It's so simple. I'm going to find Ajax, and he's going to make me pretty, totally fuckable again, and then I'm going to kill him. I love that. It's so simple. And then, you realize at the end of the movie, she doesn't care. She loves him for who he is, I'm not going to lie. I thought the love story was better than a lot of love stories in a lot of superhero movies, and when your love story is better in a Deadpool movie than a lot of other superhero movies, that's really bad. And I'm just saying, it's like Deadpool is the most juvenile character in the comics ever, and I'm just like, I was like, wow, this is really kind of. It wasn't like top level like Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, but it was damn near close. I loved their chemistry, and I thought that romance was really good. Like, there were a lot of moments in the film when he wants to see her, and he can't. He doesn't want to. Because I remember the line before he leaves is like, "I want you to remember me for how I was." And if he came to see her, she wouldn't remember him how he was. But one thing I really thought was cool, mostly afterwards, because I've been reading a lot of X-23, her origin story. I love how they brought out the mutation, because we've never talked about mutation in X-Men movies and how it's brought on. It's brought on by puberty and stress. And how Wade gets his powers and his mutation is how it was kind of like in the X-23 comic origin story, her Innocence Lost, where the guy that tortures her, like creates her, turns up the radiation. And in this one, he like takes off the air and all of that, and that's how Wade gets his ability to regenerate. I thought that was really cool. I really appreciated that. They never bring that up in the X-Men movies. It's just you're a mutant. It's like you just get it. It's in your genes. They never bring that up, and I appreciate that they did that.
The last time they actually kind of brought up somewhat how it was an X2, where it was like they said, actually mutants is kind of your husband's fault. It's usually the male's genes that kind of causes the mutation.
Oh yeah, when they were talking to Bobby, right?
When you're talking to Bobby's parents.
Yeah. Are you still going?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I guess like we've said before, like the how they handle the comedy mixed with the flashbacks, which are very kind of serious. A lot of times in a lot of superhero movies, especially like some of the Marvel ones I don't like, they have a hard time meshing that together. I feel like the one movie out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that I thought really worked it was Age of Ultron. And I know a lot of people don't like that movie. I like it. But I thought they meshed that humor with the dark kind of personal stuff for those characters really well with a complex villain. I thought they meshed that, and I'm not saying Marvel movies are bad or anything like that, or Cap sucks, and it's but I thought they did that with this, and I thought that was really great. Like I was kind of worried we were gonna do some stupid comedy in the past stuff, like we were gonna make some jokes about like cancer and stuff, and I'm like, no, you play that serious. I don't, because people would get offended, and they have every right to be. It's like cancer's not a joke, So I appreciated that very much so. And I just love the line. He's like, Mr. Wilson, you have cancer. And he looks at, Copycat, and he says, it's like the first time I'm ever really looking at her. And it's like, or the last. She's thinking of everything we're going to have to go through, but I'm just thinking of how long I have left, seeing that face. And I loved that, but that's all I really have to say. I thought it was a basic story, basically. Well, wow, that was redundant. But I thought it flowed really well. So, yeah. And also, that opening of this movie is the best thing ever. It has the credits. And I know, like Gabi and Chris, I know you guys complained about the Stan Lee cameo. They made a joke of that in the credits. They say gratuitous cameo, so that's why it's there. Yeah. I know it's. I know I'm not like trying to dog on you or Gabi, but they're making fun of that, and they're making fun of a lot of other tropes in that movie. Like Deadpool's like, I'm going to get a franchise. I'm going to be in an ensemble team. They make a lot of jokes, about the superhero genre and where it is now. I mean, even the end credit scene is. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. I know I rambled on. And also, hi Jared Flowers and Cedric. I know we didn't say hi earlier, but I just wanted to say hi.
I was about to cut that and say, Jeremy, who's here?
That's Jay Flowers.
Also Omnitron is here too. What's up, Omnitron?
Omnitron here.
Wow, we got a lot of people. Awesome.
He says, I just gotta say this. I found the idea that Deadpool actually is a mutant pretty okay, especially since the idea that because of forcing it out is what caused his scars.
Yeah, they kind of changed a little bit of his origin, but pretty much most of it is still intact. He's a genetically altered mutant. That's like pretty much what Deadpool is in the comics. He's a genetically altered. He's not a born mutant. He's a genetically altered mutant.
Yeah. Oh, also, can I ask one question from you guys before Jeremy goes? Sorry. Did this Deadpool seem a lot more stable than the one in the comics? The one in the comics is crazy. This one here is really kind of stable.
Because he didn't have two dueling voices too. That's another thing that I was mad about.
And also, I have a complaint or a minor nitpick about this movie later on for something.
Yeah, we'll get to nitpicks because I got a couple myself.
This Deadpool, this Wade Wilson looked to be more of a hothead.
Yeah, hothead. Yeah. I mean, the way Wade always somebody tells him if you meet him, and mostly any hero in the Marvel universe has met him, they'll say he's crazy, but then he'll say something like, crazy? No. If you realize what I've been through, then you realize why I'm like the way I am. And I'm like, okay. But in this, he's more like a hothead, and like, stuff like that. But yeah, he's way different in this. So yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
All right, so like I said in my review on my channel, like there's not much to spoil with Deadpool, like which is why when I did it, usually I do like a spoiler free, and in the spoiler section, I'm like, there's not really much I can spoil without the plot, because pretty much the trailer tells you exactly what the story is, but at the same time it doesn't ruin it for you because it's shallow, it's pretty simple, but at the same time the character is what makes the movie, and that's full credit to Ryan Reynolds there. And I love the jokes. I love how it balances everything. I love his supporting characters, especially like with Blind Owl and Weasel and all. Oh my God, they're great. Blind Owl and her fucking IKEA furniture, man. Great. That's like one of the funniest running gags ever. And I think Deadpool came out at a perfect time, because this is a time where even us comic book fans are starting to get burnt out on a lot of these tropes, and it's starting to get really repetitive with a lot of the stuff that's coming out, and Deadpool addresses that and is like, hey, look, this is why you shouldn't be doing this, because we've seen this a million times, and they address it. I really like that, like the superhero landing, and I love also, we're gonna have a whole section on Colossus, but I just want to touch on this really quick. I love that Colossus is the analog for the PG-13 superhero, and Deadpool is the R-rated superhero. So that I love that dynamic there. Yeah. So that was awesome. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the story.
All right, so let's go to we're gonna go to casting now. Definitely got to talk about the cast here. Not a big cast. Let's be face it, it's not really a big cast. But I think
they couldn't afford more than 2 X-Men.
Yeah, I think first of all we all can agree. Mr. Reynolds as Deadpool, Wade Wilson he was spot on. There was nothing really to say, oh, he
complained about
that. No, he nailed every moment he was Wade.
It was basically his performance to lose.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, whenever you hear that phrase, is somebody's game to lose or performance to lose. Basically, Ryan Reynolds had to do a really bad job in order for him not to succeed as Deadpool.
I mean, he literally said it, that he calls this version, and I'm reading it right here, guys. He says he calls this version more authentic and closer to the comic version, which that is spot on. Like, it was more authentic than his version in the comedy. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. X-Men Origins Wolverine falls down on his back 6,000 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think we all can agree on that. We don't have to really go into detail about Mr. Reynolds. But let's talk about Vanessa, played by
Marina Bracklin.
Oh God, she is so beautiful. This one, who plays Vanessa, who's actually Copycat. Now, I have some minor nitpicks about this, guys, because I really wanted her to be a mutant. I wanted her to be Copycat.
Well, there is something there, though, because she was in that mutant gene acceleration chamber, so I think she's going to be Copycat.
And also, I didn't notice this until someone else pointed it out to me. She does make a line talking about, like, being a stripper, saying that she's had many faces.
Yeah, she talks about, I've been many roles in my life. Damsel in Distress is one of them. But it's still like I wanted to see her. I thought when she was in that chamber, we were going to start seeing her skin turn blue, her hair was going to get white like it's really supposed to be, and I thought, but other than that, she was great. I
mean, but if you think about it though, they couldn't afford that. They blew their budget on Colossus. I don't think they could afford anything else.
But other than that, I thought she nailed the character. I mean, she really was that kind of I wouldn't say damsel in distress, but she was that type of character, especially a female lead, being a female lead who, especially when you looked at it, like, you know, she was really upset at Wade for leaving her, but then she realized, you know what, that I do love him, and I love that ending where she was taking off his mask, and you know, she looked, you know, you would have thought, you know, somebody like who stuck up and bitch, you'd have been like, oh my God, you're hideous, but she didn't care, and you know, I did like when he was like Vanessa, and she was like, you asshole. I was like, but no,
Yeah,
she
and he
really
did.
nailed this role, and you know, this is a woman who's been around for a while. I mean, she's been on
Yep.
Firefly, she's been on,
Firefly.
you know, a lot of movies, and now
Gotham.
she's now, you can see her on Gotham now, but
She's Leslie Tompkins for some
yeah,
reason, even though Leslie Tompkins is like grandma age.
but she
The New Day.
every time I looked at her, I was just like, God, she's so beautiful. I was like, I can understand why.
Let me tell, no man, my girlfriend hit me in the back of the head once. She was like, "Put your eyes back in your head." I'm like, "All right, I'm sorry, sorry."
I just totally realized something.
Was that?
This is the second time that she's done a geeky role where she's had an adult profession.
Oh yeah.
What?
I'll be damned.
In Firefly,
Wait,
she was
you know,
basically like a
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Yeah, in Firefly, she's exactly. I mean,
So,
that's
so what did everybody else want to talk about Miss the Brazilian lovely? Yeah.
honestly, I mean, everyone in this, I really think that everyone in this movie. I'm just gonna say this, and you can skip me for everyone else. I thought everyone in this movie did a great job. Ryan Reynolds was the one I think we all really wanted. We've all focused on. Like, she's great. She's wonderful. She plays off of Reynolds perfectly. I love their dynamic of like how they play off the kind of like horrible situations they have with each other, and I love the ending of the movie. I was living in a crack house. You live in a house? I love that.
yeah.
They
Monty
bond over
Python.
horrible experiences.
Oh my God, the
And-
Monty Python joke. That was great.
But I loved everyone in this movie. They all did a great job with their roles. I mean, I'm just saying everybody because, I mean, they all did great. I mean, saying anything else is redundant, but I mean, they're all great, and she was wonderful. And I hope she comes back for the sequel. Most definitely so.
Yeah,
That's
but I just want to say one thing about her though.
Go
Is
ahead.
she actually was able to bring the drama and the snarky comedy, but separate the two. Like when he finds out that he has cancer, her immediate face, she just like turns serious and she's like, "What are we gonna do to beat this? We gotta beat this," and she gets serious, like someone that's actually going through it. But then she also turns around and does the snarky stuff with him, and does the Monty Python homage.
No, and it's pretty telling that her character went like that because when we instantly meet her, one could just easily label her, oh, she's gonna be the sex pot of the sex pot
Yeah.
girlfriend of the movie.
Yep.
Exactly.
After the holiday sex scenes are over with, you start to see more that she's caring.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, because there's that scene where they're playing skee ball, and it's like, well, why are we here playing skee ball? And he's like, well, duh, this is obviously so you don't become a one-dimensional character.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit.
That's so funny. It's like she just nailed the character. I mean, you saw her from one point to point A to point B, and yeah, she nailed it. You know, she nailed it.
Yeah, to the end where she actually helps Wade win the
Yeah.
final fight.
Mhm. So
She did something that Peach could never do.
Peach Kid.
Oh,
So
angry Mario.
let's I guess let's move on to the main villain of the, and that's
Oh,
Agent
Dishwasher.
Francis, played by Ed Skrein. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's the same actor who's taken over now the role of Frank Martin in The Transporter. He was artificially.
He was
mutated-
also on Game of Thrones as well. He was
Yeah.
he was I forget who he was on Game of Thrones, but he ended up
Yeah.
because he was doing Transporter, he got replaced.
Now, Ajax is a real character. He's from the early days of Deadpool during, I believe, Liefeld's run of.
I read he was first on home ago.
He was he first appeared in Deadpool number 14, and he was actually created by probably one of the best Deadpool writers, Joe Kelly. So he definitely nailed his part, and from what I'm reading here, guys, is that the director of it, Tim Miller, said Mr. Scrins did 80% of his own stunts in this movie.
Oh.
Wow. That's impressive.
And the thing about it was he was a weapon expert. He had enhanced strength because we saw him lift that guy up, no problem. The guy just said fucking like effing mutants or some shit. And then, but he was able. He kind of had like a little bit of a midnighter feel, like he can shut down his pain receptors or something like that.
That made me think of Kick-Ass, because the whole dead nerve endings thing.
Yeah, like
I made a joke about that.
But he was interesting. The only thing that made me and Malcolm kept laughing was he kept saying, "What's my name?" I'm like, yo, what the hell?
This is not nighttime story.
Yeah, it's like,
What is this? Some sexing? What's my name?
Yeah, what's my name? What's my name?
Almost expecting a John Cena joke.
Right? And his name is...
His name is John Cena.
I mean, yeah. So,
Ta-da.
what you gonna say?
With Ajax, for me, I think he hit his ceiling after the Weapon X flashbacks for me, because that just gave you, I guess, a good incentive for you to root for a way to get him.
Yeah.
But then right after that, I'm like, okay, he's Ajax.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the final fight, I was like, hey, Wade kick his ass. Not like, oh, Wade, he might actually get hurt here. After the Weapon X for me, I think he did a good job, Ajax. But after that, I think he hit the ceiling after the Weapon X flashbacks. Cause that really set up there. Okay, we got a real reason to root for Wade.
Yeah, because you see that this guy is just a dick, and you want him to get stabbed and just die.
Yeah, and he actually says that he claims that part of his mutant power is that he can't feel anything, and he means that physically and mentally.
Yeah, and see, I made a joke about that, because initially when me and Chris was watching Deadpool and kept hearing Ajax, hey, I don't feel anything, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Can that ability also be a downside? Like, let's say your carotid artery gets cut, but you don't feel it's happening so fast, you don't feel like, you do know that you're bleeding out. Oh, and they're just dead.
Or if you're bleeding internally, like he wouldn't know.
Exactly.
Obviously, and
Well,
he'd fucking die.
That's also a downside of like getting super drunk, is you don't feel anything. So
Exactly. Because I'm thinking he can't feel anything. It's not like he's mortal or he's
Feel it,
horrible.
Mr.
He just can't
Krabs?
feel anything.
He had no pain receptors.
Exactly.
Feeling it, Mr. Krabs? You feel it yet?
Right,
You feel it, Mr. Krabs?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say but after the Weapon X, I don't think he did any. I don't think anything else was in store for Ajax to really accentuate the Weapon X flashback. So, yeah, that was his ceiling for me.
So basically, you think he met his peak basically after?
Yeah, he did his job. Like, that's all he needed to do.
Yeah, I agree with you, Malcolm. Definitely, he wasn't memorable for me, but he wasn't terrible. I like Weapon X stuff. Although I did love the final fight scene where they're basically on a shield helicarrier from the comics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
yeah,
Shout out to Bob from Hydra also.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob was in it. We're go to T.J. Miller, who played Weasel.
oh,
I can't
if
wait to see
anybody's-
the director's
T.J.
cut.
Miller, I think the first movie, if you ever hear T.J. Miller, first movie that comes to mind, you've probably seen him in, is Cloverfield.
Yep.
That's if you might not even recognize him because he was so clean shaved
Yeah,
as
so
HUD.
clean, yeah, as
in
HUD,
Cloverfield.
in Cloverfield.
As Weasel, he's all gruffed up.
And this, the way he played Weasel is a little different. It was a lot different because Weasel, he lives up to that name, Weasel. He's betrayed Wade a couple of times, and
he's a poisonous friend.
yeah, he's poisonous friend. There you go.
I got that from TV shows, by the way.
So yeah, but in this, he ran a bar that was, with other people that like Wade. It's kind of like, he's
Sister Margaret's.
And you remember,
that was a nice Daredevil reference also, like Sister Margaret's.
Yeah,
remember what I said? The whole bar like brotherhood thing.
Yeah.
I said I enjoy some movies whether it's like a hitman group or
like
something.
John Wick.
Yeah, because that's what I first thought about. After I saw John Wick a couple of days ago, I was like, when they do stuff like that, where there's like this brotherhood fraternity stuff within like some
inside the place of
or it's like, that's pretty cool. So like in the scene when when Angel and Ajax come and as Angel yoke out Weasel, immediately
what did he say? He said, dude, you're in the wrong place to be doing this.
Yeah, it's like
they all just clink, clink, clink. I was like, yeah. So yeah, but I thought he was good. He was funny. He had some funny moments too, like especially when he was with blind Al. He's like, get effed up. I'm like,
Okay, so was I the only one who thought for a second that Blind Owl was a horror from Star Trek?
Yep.
Yeah, Chris immediately.
Yep. When I first saw it, I'm like, is that who I think? And then then I looked it up. I was like,
and then it's the chick from The Wiz. It turned out to be the chick from The Wiz.
Yeah.
I was like,
but back to Weasel real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny when he was just talking about how Wade looks.
Apparently, there's an extended cut of that.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see that.
Apparently T.J. Miller went on for like 30 minutes straight just zinging him out, and apparently there was one that he said that was super funny, but they said
so offensive that they had to cut it out.
Yeah, it was too offensive for Deadpool, but still, the ones that they kept, like, you look like an avocado fucked in even older avocado.
You look like Freddy Krueger just face fucked a topographical map of Utah.
Yeah,
I like
that's actually...
where he says, you look like the inside of other people's asses.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you know that?
But it's actually funny, though.
Okay, before we move on to the rest of the cast, Jay, what's going on in the comment section?
So we got a couple from Omnitron.
Okay.
Which was the last one that we read from Omnitron? The I just got to say this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the other two from Omnitron are, well, in the comics, Deadpool plays up the crazy actually a lot of the time, and then he said. And then the other one, he says, I loved Colossus, was under the impression and the delusion that this was a PG-13 movie. And most of the time he was like, what the hell is this? I don't understand what's going on.
I don't read about it.
And then his final comment was, this Deadpool is more like early Joe Kelly Deadpool, which I agree with.
That's
Definitely,
exactly what it was.
I got the Joe Kelly vibe from it too.
So let's after T.J. Miller, we have of course Wonder Woman's in this.
Oh man,
Gina Carano, Angel Dust. Now they changed her origin a little bit in this because she's actually supposed to be a mutant. She's actually a Morlock, actually.
She's supposed to be one of the Morlocks, and she was also part of freaking Callisto's terrorist group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
XL.
I forget what they were called.
Also,
XL, yeah.
It was revealed that that in the original script they had like 3 brawny guys as the bad guy, and they replaced them with her.
Yeah, they condensed the 3 henchmen into Angel Dust.
I mean, they kept her abilities pretty much exactly what she's supposed to have. I mean, She had accelerated
adrenaline-based super strength.
yeah, and all that, but she was actually a mutant, and she was a part of the Chicago faction of the Morlocks, and she's actually created by co-created by one Mr. Jeff Johns. Yeah, Jeff Johns actually co-created it with a guy known as Sean Martin Broth. Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
My favorite scene with Angel Dust has to be the Colossus thing, where her titty
Yeah.
pops out of the.
yeah,
Titty pops
we're
out
definitely going to get to that
The
because
Colossus tries to cover that up.
I like, first of all, I didn't mind that she didn't talk too much. Her actions spoke louder. It was like,
Yeah.
She
and
reminded
was
me
evil.
of Batista and she reminded me of Batista in Spectre.
yeah. But
I mean, I don't put it. Me and Nate was talking about this. Since Nate's a big Gina Carano fan. Within good reason. He was like, I was like, yeah, I mean, what she was there to do, she did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, because it wasn't like even offensive when Nate even says, like, he's like, unfortunately, Gina was not given that much to do. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, so what are you saying? She was like the Colossus in the original X-Men? He was like, yep. It was like,
And she even did more than Colossus in those movies.
Hell yeah, she did.
I was like, so you saying she took Colossus' old role, but just did a little bit more? He was like, yep. I was like,
It's more to do than fucking Cyclops.
yeah.
Honestly,
So it's like, yeah, what she was given, I think she was good. So, but she was there to be the enforcer.
Yeah, the enforcer. That's
Yeah.
what she was.
Yeah, basically. I mean, all I'll say is, I'll quote Deadpool. You're way too much dude for me. I'm just kidding. No, she was fine. She was just there for me, basically. But she's
gonna do a superhero pose.
No,
superhero pose.
no, she won't do super
See that? Tell you? Yes.
yeah.
She does the Iron Man 2 landing. I was like, oh.
Are you gonna leave me with Rosie O'Donnell? That was
Yeah,
so.
but for me, I actually kind of maybe liked her more than Ajax personally, but also there were cool little subtle things with her that maybe implied that the only reason why she was doing all this was because she was in love with Ajax.
I know she was.
I didn't really pick up on that.
I know she was in love with matches.
Yeah. Wade would
Oh,
always like
yeah.
matches.
Yeah.
And this is just, and I think you can attest to this because we've seen Gina since 2009.
Yeah.
Out of all time seeing Gina, that was like the biggest she looked. I guess it's because maybe either what she was wearing.
She looked like she.
Yeah, I'm like,
like,
she looks bigger.
She looks bigger.
Yeah.
She looked bigger than any of the stuff I've seen her in.
Already 5 foot.
She's 5'11", 5'10".
5'10". So it looked like she added a couple more pounds. I was like, oh, she looked really more enforced.
Yeah, because she looked almost like 6 foot. Like,
yeah.
She bulked up. I was for what they gave her, I'm like, okay, she's the
I can tell you one thing. Is you stop as you compare to that, it doesn't compare to when she was in Almost Human because you still creeped about her.
She's creepy in that. Yeah.
She just needed to work out a little bit more, and she'd look as like her body would look just as buff as Chris Evans is for the Captain America movie.
She's pretty good though. I'm not gonna lie. We move on to Brianna Hildebrand, who played Negasonic Teenager Warhead. Now, this is another character that they changed her origin a lot.
Her powers are completely different. Her
powers are completely different.
She was Jean Grey's number one. She's a nuclear telekinetic. She's a nuclear telekinetic. She was Jean Grey's top pupil in Grant Morrison's run of the X-Men. I actually really liked her character. She ended up getting killed during the Genoa massacre, but yeah,
Oh yeah, that.
Hey, look, we got some more comments.
Okay.
We got Spawn.
Yeah, she was actually yeah,
Sponsor?
she was a part of she was a telepath and she was pale. If I remember, she was really pale.
yeah, she was
And
really pale.
she was actually created by Grant Morrison.
Just look
Yeah,
at
this and but in this, I kind of like the way she was like a human missile. Like
I like the because
But then
there's actually an interesting story behind that, and Chris, you might get a little pissed when I tell you about this. So originally, apparently, you're gonna be mad when I tell you who they originally had in place of Negasonic Teenage Warhead as the Teenage X-Men, because I know you love this character.
oh, please don't tell me Cannonball.
Yeah, they were gonna put Sam in there.
God damn it.
They were gonna put good old Sam Guthrie up in there, and I was like, wait, you could have had Cannonball in this? You didn't get Cannonball? I was like,
Well, we still could get him teenaged in the New Mutants movie. God damn it.
They need to bring him in.
because that would have been so awesome. But yeah, I liked her. I loved that Ripley joke because that's exactly what I thought when I first saw the trailer. I was like, she looks like Ripley from Alien 3.
Yeah, and
Like Dodger-old.
But not only that, another shout out. We have Spawn, we have Burners, and we got
Sin. Yeah, Ken's in the house. Yeah, you know, I think.
And Mr. Emerald.
Mr. Emerald's here? Oh, cool. Yeah, I thought she was really cool. I mean, you know, here she kind of played when she came in, when they showed the X Mansion and Colossus was eating.
That was a pretty empty mansion.
Yeah, empty mansion. You know, and then they break the joke like, well, you can't get anybody else to come in. You know, you see him Deadpool, and then he was going to get in the X Jet, the Blackbird, and I kind of got a little bit of a Ileana feel to her. Like, while I was thinking that should have been Ileana and Colossus, you know,
Ileana.
Magic and yeah. See,
Family. My family.
My family.
why you want me to do that?
Family.
But
Family.
I liked her. I liked the fact that she also. Why did it feel like she had a little bit of a Kitty Pryde?
She
X-Men
did kind of. She had kind of an X-Men Evolution Kitty Pryde, also kind of personality to her. Like if you mix Kitty Pryde from X-Men Evolution with Boom Boom from X-Men Evolution, and you got Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
I think
I love
with
Boom
Negasonic.
Negasonic Teenager Warhead.
Teenage Warhead.
which I love that line where
I
he's like,
think,
"Can we switch names?"
yeah, I think for me, I think I would have liked to see. So I would like to have seen more of her. I think just when it was like getting, it was like, oh, the movie's kind of movie.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah, I loved that she was the one character that just did not put up with Deadpool shit. She's like, you're annoying. I don't like you. I don't get your jokes. Fuck you.
Yeah, but she did say something nice to him at the end, which he noticed.
Oh yeah.
And she also did kind of a more chaotic version of the fastball special.
Yeah. I mean, there were scenes where she was using her powers and like she splattered those guys. She hid behind that thing and just said bam, and then it went whop. They just flat. And I was like, oh man.
Well, you could also
I love the tweet scene with the fight also, man. That was hilarious.
No, finish your tweet. No,
But yeah, you could.
All right,
you
go
could
get her,
also
Tiger.
tell. You could also tell that in this movie, for some reason, her powers take a lot out of her.
Yep.
Yeah, because she was doing. It wasn't like boom, boom, boom. It was like she'll come in, then you see her take cover.
Yeah.
Like I guess like recharge.
You know that actually was. I thought that was a good playoff too. Is like she shouldn't be able to do that because that even when she did it the first time, I looked at it from a point of view like that must take a lot out of her because in this when she was running that Angel, I'm like that she looks like she's charging that up a lot. And then when she hid. And then she hid behind it, and then she charged it up again. I was like, okay, this.
And then when she came, she came to save Colossus.
Yeah, and then she came to save. Yeah, And yeah, and that's who we really need to.
Sin got a question.
Okay.
Brianna Hildebrand is actually really attractive. I looked up what the actress actually looks like without like the teenage look.
Yeah, when she has her long hair.
Yeah, I was like, dang, all right.
Also, she can sing, and she has good humor and sass in real life.
Yeah, she can sing. My friend tagged me in a vine with her in it, and I was
saw
like,
that.
yo, oh my god, like. Whew.
Jay, yeah, she can sing.
So
that's one of my weaknesses, man.
And just one last thing about Negasonic.
Go ahead.
I do like the fact that they gave her an actual X-Men costume.
Yeah, we did.
Thank you.
We just said that it looked like Kitty Pryde.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I was just saying that it looks a lot better than the costumes that they have for the young guys in Apocalypse.
Yeah, none of that BS Singer black leather. Fuck your BDS.
Yeah,
Singer has like a BDSM fetish or something.
Yeah, I also like the reveal of her costume too, because it was like her normal clothes disintegrated as she was activating her power.
You know, it's actually a TV trope about like movie heroes wear black, and I guess it comes from X-Men.
I do find it.
We talk about Blind Al, right? Did we talk about Blind Al?
No,
we did a little bit. We
mentioned
that we thought she was a horror for a little bit.
Leslie Ugrams.
Uggams. Yeah, Leslie Uggams.
Uggams, yeah, Uggams. Yeah, I thought she nailed the character of Blind Al.
She did.
Okay.
Yeah,
that baby hand scene was hilarious. I almost fell out of my chair.
Okay, that's something I'll wait for that scene because I wanted to touch on that too.
Them giving Deadpool regenerative
powers. They gave Deadpool regenerative power because he's not supposed to be able to grow other limbs and stuff. He has to put it back. Yeah, if it gets cut off, he has to like find it and put it back on. But yeah, that was pretty funny. And you know, the way I like when he met her in the laundry. Man, I wish you could have some coke.
Yeah, it's like you're in a laundry, man. You be like,
what? You hear an elderly woman say that, like, I want some coke. I'm like, what the?
And then at the end,
in this apartment, I've hidden $500,000 and a bag of cocaine. You have to find it.
Next to the
Cure for blindness.
Yeah, she's like. Like, really?
Yeah, and then TJ Miller's just like, you want to get some cocaine?
Yeah. All right. So
and you would think that I guess it's a play on most movies. Period. The trope is the blind character. They're probably the most serious.
Right.
But her blindness was played up as a joke too.
When she was fixing fixing the drawer.
Oh my god, the IKEA shit! I told you guys that was like the best gag ever. Whoever thought of that as a gag was genius. The blind lady.
And her trying to put down the thing and missing.
Exactly, her trying to put for Wade and she's missing.
Or remember, she wanted Wade wanted the extra little pop gun she had. She's like, I'm not giving it. Like, give it up. She gave it to her here.
I really thought she was gonna pull something out of her hair.
Oh. But last but not least, because we can go right into this guy because this is one of the things I really want to talk about.
Let me go first.
The author, Rasputin, a.k.a. Colossus, who was voiced by Stephen Capisi. I hope I'm saying his name right.
Breakfast is most important meal of day.
This right here, now from what I've read, I'm reading right here. Daniel Culmore, who originally played Colossus in the last 3 movies, he was offered the role, but he declined it. You know what? Suck it now.
Biggest. I don't want to say suck it. That's not. I mean, I just think it's biggest mistake ever. Yeah, you would actually have gotten
He's kicking himself in the head so hard.
Yeah, I think
it's kind of like in the actor that played Dr. Connors in the Sam Raimi trilogy. He's just waiting to play the lizard, and then he doesn't get to play him.
Yeah.
I also equate that to like Wedge Antilles. The actor who played Wedge Antilles was like, I'm not going to be in episode. They offered him a spot in episode 7. He's like, I'm not going to be in episode 7. The idea bores me. And you see how much money that movie made now? I bet you imagine yourself now, Wedge Antilles.
No, I'm not so sure because I'm not so sure if it's a real.
Suck it.
Yeah, because if he would have played Colossus and had the same lines, but it didn't come across as
Legit.
Yeah,
with
because
with no Russian accent, which
Yeah.
I think is what really
I
made.
think-
the Russian accent is what sold
I
it.
don't really see it as a
Okay.
suck because he would have played the same class that he was just with speaker over. It probably would never came across as good as Colossus did in this
Okay.
this Deadpool movie.
True, but in some ways, I think he is still like, maybe I should have.
Or maybe I should have adopted a Russian.
I should have
accent.
adopted a Russian, but because I mean, the moment
Or try.
or try.
the moment he talked, I was like, I got my Russian accent, and
We're going.
the only thing I
We're
did
go.
not like
Negasonic,
about-
come here. We're going after Deadpool. Take
the
protein
only,
bar.
the only thing I
Breakfast
did
is
not like about it too much, and Malcolm knew, because is the fact that he stayed in his metal skin all the time. I wanted to see him, it's like you see it ching 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 coming on him.
Again, they don't
Well,
have the budget for him
Yeah,
to
that
power
was-
up and power
Yeah,
down.
and also apparently it was a rights thing that's the only way that they could have him is if he was constantly metaled up.
One thing, we're just getting into Colossus himself. I just have to say, the X-Men movies have this weird thing where they do with like characters like Bobby, Kitty, Cyclops, where they have them there, but they never have the essence of what we love about the characters there at all. They just have them there. Like, I love, like, you don't have to have the colorful costumes. I can deal with that. But you don't use them at all, like their personality. Cyclops, I don't know. This Cyclops, like, I love James Marsden in the role, but he's not the Cyclops I love from the comics. I know everyone hates Cyclops but me, but you know what? Fine. But this one has the essence of Colossus from the comics.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
like, he's not wearing his red and yellow costume, but he's wearing a black and kind of reddish. But he has that essence, and I don't care, because he is Colossus. And I'm like, he's not like a deep character, but he's Colossus, and I appreciate that they finally do that. And I'm glad we've kind of soft rebooted because, no offense to a lot of the actors that were in the original trilogy, but you can recast, Ellen, like Kitty Pryde as someone that can play Kitty Pryde actually in the present. They had Colossus basically, and that's one of the best things I can give this movie is.
The thing I would say about this is kind of piggyback on what you're saying, Kyle, is the fact that Colossus has been in 3 of these movies, and in all of them,
Four because of Days of Future Past.
Technically 4, we got a better representation of him, and he was a supporting character.
Not just that. How in 4 movies, he's just there.
He was just there.
In
Yeah.
Deadpool.
Exactly.
And his 4th appearance, he was literally just cannon fodder. He got ripped in half.
And also, I'll one up you here. Not only was he better in Deadpool when he was a supporting character, he was also better in Deadpool when he was just a CGI character.
Yeah, the
Yes,
CGI.
exactly.
The CGI
He was
Like,
body modeled after I forget the body model that did it, but still. And what I did like was when he walked, it was like you could feel like the weight on him.
Also, did anyone think it was really weird in contrast to the comics how Colossus is like, Deadpool, come join the X-Men, and I'm like, wait, like,
No,
I
I kind of see that as like, because Pete always saw the best in people, no matter what. So I think I definitely
so
see
weird.
that matching up with him.
That's fair, but that's Deadpool. I don't know. Like, not even the Avengers want him. Like, and now he's an Avenger, which is stupid. But
Colossus kind of came across like Brave and the Bold Aquaman.
Yeah.
Like,
Outrageous.
But
yeah.
but what I was gonna piggyback with Kyle when Kyle basically touched on with Colossus how in the past movies, and now compared to Deadpool, he wasn't a deep character, but what stands out from his representation in Deadpool from all the X-Men movies that he wasn't a deep character. He was actually a character. Yes, he felt
Yeah.
he was a
Felt
character.
he was a
And
character.
he was
Exactly.
in character.
He was
He was
exactly
actually in character the entire time.
You know,
Like this version, if he got ripped apart by those bland ass Sentinels in the future, I would be more like, oh, that's really sad because I really like him.
Right.
And that in Days of Future Past, I'm just like, oh, that's horrible. But 'cause I'm a human.
Yeah. Like the only reason you got a reaction out of that was because it was so brutal. It was like, oh fuck, did they really have
and
to
you're
do
a
all
human
of that?
being. It's you're a human being. You're gonna feel something seeing a guy get ripped in half by two Sentinels. It's like, geez, like that's brutal. It's like that's what I appreciate. It's like Chris is one of his biggest problems with Days of Future Past is he hates how they did Warpath in that movie because he's a big supporter of Native American characters, and he's nothing in that movie. None of the future mutants are, except for maybe Blink. They're just there, like it's just like you appreciate that they.
I really
did
hope
rock.
it's not what they do with Psylocke. If they mess with Betsy like that, I'm gonna be
Nah,
so
I think they're gonna. I think Singer is gonna have her be front and center because she's in a lot of the advertisement.
Yeah.
She's in actually more of the advertisement than Cyclops is, and it's like what.
She's in,
I mean,
she's in
if
every
you look at it from
storm.
the point of view is like we're saying is like, yeah, the essence and the true representation of this character who has been around for nearly 30, 40 years now when he came out in 1975. So yeah, he's been around for 1975 because he first appeared in Giant Size X-Men #1. That was 1975. So yeah,
Maybe
about
80s,
37
yeah.
years,
Yeah.
40 give or take. And
Yeah.
I mean, for all of us, when the first X2 came out, and we saw that big silhouette of this guy, and we saw the jing, 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 I think all of us could say we was like, oh, there go Colossus, and he's getting shot up, and then he looks and pop throws those guys through the wall, and then what really had my high, and then all of a sudden, then it went just really was when he said, I can help you, and I'm like, wait, the dude speaking. I'm like,
English?
no. Then I just,
Although when they did the fastball special in the danger room, that was dope. I love that part.
yeah, if you could
I don't
call
know.
it
Anything in that movie, everything in that movie is not really dope. I'm sorry.
If you could call it,
I like that one scene. That one scene is the one thing I will take away. I'm like, all right, that was kind of cool.
if you could call it the fastball special, because it was more like I'm gonna swing you and then throw you instead of Klaus just picks him up and just launches him. So I call it a mock.
Get out of here.
I was like, I'm taking out the trash.
Yeah, take it out the trash. Yeah, that's great. Take it out the trash. Instead of, but I'm not saying it was bad, but I'm just saying I would have thought, okay, Colossus, you're strong enough to lift Wolverine up and just launch him like that, and instead of
Well, to be fair, anything in that movie is bad, so it's not like we're being unjust.
Yeah.
But
there's also the shirtless Colossus scene that was pretty terrible.
But yeah,
what's going on in the comment section? I feel like we've.
what's going on in the comment section? Jay, what's going on in the comment section?
All right, let's see.
I feel like we probably
got.
we have.
Holy crap! There is a ton of comments.
I love that we're getting a lot of comments. That's great. I love feedback.
Where was the last place we left off?
We were
Joe Kelly,
talking-
Deadpool, I think.
Yeah, that was it.
All right, so
Thank you guys for being here.
Spawn says hi.
Hi, Spawn.
Hi.
Omnitron says Wonder Woman Deadpool crossover. Yes.
Yeah.
You imagine Gal Gadot
And
and we've heard how she speaks. Like, get away from me. And I can
And
imagine them
also-
doing like in the sequel with the voices. Can we have sex? Don't ruin it for us. It's like.
and also, it was funny that you misspoke Chris in talking about Gina Carano and called her Wonder Woman because she was my pick for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I think everybody knows. Yeah,
Pretty much. I think that was everybody's pick for Wonder Woman, but they all the Fox said fuck it because hey, if we're gonna get instead of Bryan Cranston, then we're gonna get Jesse Eisenberg. We're gonna fuck your casting guys. Fuck your fan casting.
let me see. Okay. Anyway,
I'm just saying. I'm still not sold on the Jesse Eisenberg.
you mean
no
Mark?
one is.
Yeah.
You mean arcade? Because that's all he's playing is arcade.
Oh yeah, Raggedy Ann.
believe
Yeah,
that I
Deadpool.
cannot believe it took like who was it?
Uh,
Serena who pointed
okay,
it out.
here's a
Now I cannot
question.
stop thinking about it.
This is kind of not Deadpool-ish question, Sin, but I'll answer it because it kind of has to do with a character that I want to see on the big screen, Domino, Miss Nina Thurman. Who would I cast as her?
She's rumored to be the second one.
I say Maggie Q could pull off Domino. Like,
Oh, dude,
Maggie
I was
Q.
just about to say that. You took the words out of my mouth. Maggie Q.
Yeah, because she played Nikita pretty well, and I could see her. I really would. Man, I wish Charlize Theron could play that character.
oh my God! Yeah, Charlize Theron is Domino.
Elijah
Damn,
Douche probably could. Elijah Douche could.
Yo,
could
yo,
probably-
Oh yeah.
oh my God! Like, no, Charlize Theron. Oh my God.
Dude,
Why
did
did
you even hear him?
you? Oh my God, Chris! I love her.
Yeah,
So,
man, I love Elijah Dushku, man. Shoot.
I want
let's
her
see.
to be. I thought she would have made a really good Jessica Jones, but I like Christian Ritter, so.
I think actually, I don't know if they'll go now that they have an older Batman, but I always thought Eliza could be a good Catwoman.
I think that, yeah, I always thought she could
She
do
voiced
really
Catwoman already. She voiced her before
Well,
Batman
I mean,
Year
in
One.
the,
live
the
action.
Catwoman short in Batman Year
Yep.
One. She voiced
Yep.
her.
I know, Chris. He
didn't
saw
know
something about some. I think it was a picture, a meme of what if Alyssa Milano played Catwoman. Here come Chris. Oh man,
Yeah,
I
that
wish she did.
I wish she did. Yeah, man, you know.
What else?
Oh, but
Yeah,
What else we got?
I did like the Alien 3 reference.
Oh shoot,
Oh,
Bird has
yeah,
somebody as
definitely.
Domino. He says Lena Headley.
Oh, you mean
Lena
Cersei?
Headey. Oh, Cersei.
You know who played
Yeah,
300.
I could see Cersei as Domino.
well, Cersei was kind of good guy Domino when she played Sarah Connor.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
Okay, I'll answer this one too. Can please keep the questions Deadpool related?
Although to tie it back to Deadpool, I would definitely love to see Domino in like a Uncanny X-Force movie. With
I'm thinking that she's going to be in the X-Force movie now.
Yeah, same.
I actually have to put up my lineup. Somebody wanted me to do that, so I got to do it.
Yep.
Let me see.
Oh, yeah.
Would anybody have casted Gina Carano as Big Barda? I could probably see her play Big Barda.
After seeing how huge she got for this, hell yeah! Like she.
Yeah.
You know,
Let me see. They'll make the super suit green. Yeah, animated. That was funny.
And we haven't talked about it yet. I love how they razzed on Barakapool and Green Lantern.
Yeah,
like Green Lantern
yeah,
more.
like he had a Barakapool action figure, and
I died of laughter. I was like, I
found out that's an actual action figure that you can buy.
Yeah,
Oh,
you could buy that.
I kind of figured that. Yeah, I kind of figured that. But I love how they just razzed all
and one of the bad guys in the freeway scene had a Green Lantern trading card in his wallet.
Yeah. There's also a Spider-Man reference on that highway.
Parker Boulevard. Yeah, Parker
I
Boulevard.
was like, look at that.
Oh, and there's also Hello Kitty. There's Hello Kitty Lip Balm, which Hello Kitty is the only Twitter account Deadpool follows.
Yeah.
There's
Let's go to now our favorite scenes, and just all the different references. I think the one that really got me the most is just seeing Deadpool be Deadpool, and that first scene where that just had me laugh, like when he had the number, how many bullets he had, and you see him shoot, and he's like bang, and I was just like, yeah, that's bang.
That was a nice touch. That was a really nice touch.
Yeah.
I was surprised I didn't hear him bang, 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 bang. He was just counting.
And I thought that was really. I also have to admit, once again, this is something I said in my kind of small review, is that I loved the choreography in this. The choreography in this was really good.
And the thing about that is Tim Miller worked on video games before. This is his directorial debut. He mostly works on video games. He's in charge of Blur Studios, so like he's used to choreographing big action scenes like that.
Yeah,
So
actually,
that first scene where he was chasing Francis and stuff like that.
And I found that to be interesting.
Yeah, that he caught Francis.
No, that not hard on him. Is that one of the motorcyclists was Francis?
Yeah,
I just thought that was just a
I thought that was just gonna be
Next thing you know, he's France. I'm like, wait, you trying to tell me one of those guys are actually Francis?
with Ajax
is the main villain.
And of course, I think the other part of me, the other scene that really I did like, I'm just run down all my favorite scenes. Is when Colossus shows up. And
it's like, Dad? He touches his dick, Dad?
And then he just tosses him. And I thought it was like, man, and then you got him trying to punch Colossus. I'm like, I was like, now there is exactly what happens if a normal person was to punch Colossus. He trying to kick him in the nuts. And then Colossus like, what are you struggling, Deadpool?
yeah, but
Just come over with us.
I'm going to take you to the professor. Which one? McAvoy.
the
I thought
cherry on top to
that
that.
was pretty funny. Another scene I love was where he's like, you're gonna get run over by a Zamboni if you don't. And the Zamboni was like,
5 minutes.
and, the other scene where he was still looking for Francis and he was fighting those little girls and he's like, oh, you little shits, and he just throw her around. And
I love how he contemplated, do I hit you? Is that sexist?
And I think one of my other favorite scenes is, of course, was the Angel and Colossus fight. Man, that was good.
Yeah.
That was so great. I love where where Angel's boob pops out. And he's like, oh, you're showing, you're showing right there. And then she's like, oh,
thank you.
And whop! His face was so funny, but and like I said, but those scenes are some of my favorite. Those are my favorites. And all right, so who wants to go with their favorite scene?
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead, Brian.
All right, but one of my favorites is actually the where he's punching Colossus. But the cherry on top for me is that he punches him, then kicks him, and he's left with 1 foot. But then he just does this really elaborate back kick to hit him one more time and break his second leg.
And yeah, when he did that, that really weird mule kick. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then another one of my favorite scenes is actually one that they put in last minute, and that's where they're gonna face the bad guy. They're epically walking. X gonna give it to you.
Oh yeah, when the DMX song, yeah, cue music.
And then it's in Megasonic's like, "Where's your guns?" And so the music stops, and he's like, "Oh shit."
Oh man, I got a good one.
Oh my God! Yeah, I totally forgot about all the scenes with
Jeremy. I'm going next. You can take it first for me. I'm going.
And the scene with the cab driver.
Yeah, Depender. Yeah, that.
Yeah, and someone pointed out to me, I didn't even realize it, but it's almost like you could tell that Deadpool has been using Depender for a while. And we just haven't been seeing it.
You know who I would have loved to be Depender? Abed would have been the perfect person to play the cab driver. I would have freaked out.
But yeah, there were a lot of good scenes in this movie, like where he's counting the bullets, and then he even at one point gets shot and he's like, that stings. Bam, bam, and he's like, shit. It was worth it, though.
Even when, I forget what he said before, he was like, do you actually think Like, do you actually think that Ryan Reynolds got this far on superior acting skill?
Yeah,
I mean, like, it is about looks. Do you think Ryan Reynolds got far with superior acting skills? I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
he just
and-
it's
Just
on himself.
Just one more before I go, I just want to point out one more scene that goes back to our thing, how they could pair the drama with the jokes. Is at the end where she's like, "Show me your face," and he lifts it up, and he's laughing.
Hugh Jackman mask. Oh my god.
Oh, and one other thing that I didn't even realize, which was a small, quick thing, is when he's doing his bag of guns, he throws in a magazine, and if you look, the magazine is Ryan Reynolds' Sexiest Man of the Year magazine.
Yeah. And also, Hugh Jackman's Sexiest Man Alive issue is in his apartment.
Yep,
Oh.
that's where he cuts it out for the face.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty.
But I guess I'm done now.
All right, go Kyle. I
All
got
right.
my turn.
All right, so the best scene that made me laugh out loud, a lot of my favorite moments are just funny moments in this movie, is when he's with the cab driver and they're about to go do their epic fight, and then you hear something in the back of the trunk.
No.
Is that? And he's like, and while they're driving there, you got Colossus like hunched in there, like looking at Wade, and he's like, "That is bad. That is bad." And I forget what the cab driver's name is, but he's like, "What?" Okay, he's like, "That is so bad. I'm so proud of you." And then under his voice, he just whispers, "Kill him!" Like, I'm dying of laughter. Of these subtle moments of humor. The next one is this. It's on the bridge. A lot of my favorite scenes are on the bridge because we spend a lot of time there.
Yeah.
And I love when Colossus shows up and he's like, "We cannot allow this, Deadpool." And he's like, "We're just having a good time. Nobody's getting hurt." And that guy comes falling down. He's like, he was already up there. I'm like, I know that's in the trailer, but that was so good within the movie. And then to add on to the fight scene that he has with Colossus, two things that just I loved. That was my favorite scene in the movie. Me and my sister just couldn't stop laughing. That was like Falcon and Ant-Man in the Ant-Man movie fighting, and he punches Colossus in the nuts, and he goes, "Oh, I feel so bad for the misses," and then when his hands are like this, he goes, "The T-Rex was the most feared dinosaur." And then when he's like, "We're gonna go see Charles Xavier." Which one, McAvoy or
I'm going to take you to see the professor. And
then he literally cuts his own hand off.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Funny shot.
And then
Have any of you seen the movie 127 Hours? Well, spoiler alert. I'm just like.
And then he was like, "I'm tired." He's like, "You know what? Tell Beast to stop shitting on my lawn." What was the other one? Oh, this one I know is a bit kind of messed up, but I love that he's like, "What's my name?" When they're about to fight on the helicarrier from the comics, he's like, "Oh, son of a bitch," and he spells out Francis with dead bodies, and I went, "That is the best thing ever." And man, I don't have a lot. I'm just rambling on, but my last one, and I know Chris has a nitpick about this, but I love when him and Weird Al are just sitting down, and he touches her with his little baby hand.
I love the baby hand.
I don't have a problem with it. Just like, I was just like, man, he can regenerate stuff.
I love when he's like, "I'm gonna go to work with it," and you know what I mean, right? It's like it's gonna be big.
That was so funny.
The thing that
was really good. Like, I know a lot of my things are just comedy, but this is a comedy action movie.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of great stuff in this movie that, like I said, some of the jokes don't hit with me, but the ones that do, there's always one that comes afterwards.
Yeah,
but
that's the thing with it. I was just going to say, to go piggyback from what you said, Kyle, you were like, yeah, it's 80-20, and I agree with that. Like, not all the jokes hit, but because they do so many at once, it is like a buckshot. chances are, like within a couple seconds, you'll get a joke that hits for you.
Yeah, and the final one was, and it's just the movie and how it's just talking to the audience. I love when he goes to the X mansion and he's like, "What? We couldn't afford other X-Men to just come walking around the background?" And I went, "Oh my God, they addressed a problem I had." And it was like, that's so funny. It's like,
And
that's
the
really
funny thing
yeah.
is, they couldn't. They literally couldn't afford it.
That's why it's funny. It's just like, yeah, we couldn't afford it, but it's like he's just pointing it out.
Even though Hugh Jackman was like the biggest cheerleader for this movie, like they couldn't
Yeah.
even get Hugh Jackman in here.
And I love how we're just making Deadpool's just making fun of like Hugh Jackman throughout the movie. And I love in the beginning he's like, "I got my movie," and he's like, and he talks about Wolverine. He goes from down under. Accent. But those are a lot of my favorite scenes. Just comedy. It's just they're so good. Brian took my favorite one with where she takes off the mask and Hugh Jackman's
Nobody's taking the big chunk of mine, so I'm glad for that.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
So most of my favorite scenes actually involve Vanessa. Like I love the Monty Python Yorkshiremen bit where she's just like, "Oh yeah, I was molested by my uncle. Oh yeah, uncles." And they just kept going, and they're just like so fucked up. They're just so fucked up, and I'm just like, oh my God.
I missed one, so I'll come back. There's one I missed. All right.
And then I also I love that it's just like the reason they work so well is because they reminded me a lot of Jessica Jones and Luke Cage in a way, because he's fucking crazy and she's fucking crazy, and it works together. Like, I love that. I love the reference to Say Anything, where he's like, if I die, I'm gonna, before I die, I'm gonna see you again. I'm hold up a boombox. I'm like, and he ends up playing the song from Say Anything.
On his iPad.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. I love the shit with, like Brian said, the whole reveal his face thing. That was funny. I love just Negasonic Teenage Warhead, where like when she answers the door, it's like Ripley from Alien 3, and she just goes, "Oh, you're old," and I'm just like, I'm not that old. I got that reference. I'm like, oh.
There was like I said, there's a couple.
Chanel comment.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, it's Chanel," and she was just like, "What?"
And then the one that I loved the most, the one that like I was laughing hysterically at, was at the very end where fucking like Colossus is giving his speech about we only get a certain amount of chances to be to be a superhero, Deadpool. This is your opportunity. You can become X-Men. You can prove to people that you're more than just a mercenary. And then he just goes, "Nope." Boom!
Yeah.
I'm like, I know it's coming.
Yeah,
I'm like, you gotta
shoot him, right? Yeah, you gotta shoot him, right? I thought that was funny too, where he's like, "Yeah, baby, I got it." So AJ just knocked him out.
But this movie just had me dying.
I forgot that actually still, man, even though as I've seen it so much, is where we saw him before he became Deadpool, and he was messing with that pizza delivery.
Oh my God! Yeah. Oh.
I got another one.
That was hilarious.
And then of course the other one, as much as I've seen it too, is like where he's listening to Salt and Pepper, and then he jumps down the car and he starts fighting him. And then of course he says, "You seen this man?" And then he grabs that guy and he's like, "Yeah, I never say this, but don't swallow."
Don't swallow.
Another one I totally forgot was when Ajax like attached to the side of the bridge, just like sitting there, and Deadpool grabbed a piece of like a tire, like the front of it, and just throws it at his face.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I want to point out, we talked about how he cut off his arm.
Yeah, we said his
but we didn't mention the part that comes right after that, where he finally cuts it and it sprays on Colossus.
Oh yeah!
Ooh, money shot.
Oh yeah!
Yes, he's like, "Yeah, in your face." Yeah.
So what's next after this? Is it nitpicks? Or did Malcolm? Has Malcolm went yet?
Things like, thanks guys. Sorry for bleeding all over your truck.
Yeah.
And then you just see the guys like,
it's earlier. Uh, I think okay. If we're gonna go nitpicks, all right.
I got two. So.
I got a couple.
I don't really have too many. I mean, like I said, I just really wish Vanessa was a mutant. And for those who don't know who she is or what she is, her name is Copycat, and she's the reason why I think they didn't do it. And this is just besides the budget reasons, but it's probably because she is a shapeshifter as well, just like
Okay.
Mystique. But unlike Mystique, which Mystique, she can change into whoever she wants, but she doesn't have their abilities. Copycat does. She has their abilities. When she changes, she lives up to exactly what her name is, Copycat. So if she changes to Colossus, she'll be just as strong as he is and everything like that. But I really wish she was. The other thing is, like I said, I really wished, and I know he was CGI, but I really would have thought, they could have just at least shown him without his medal.
I took that as a joke.
Yeah,
No, I know. I took probably Colossus. This is a joke that you're probably supposed to get, and if you don't get it, it's like it's a joke that's right in front of you. You're just supposed to see it. That hey, why is
I
Colossus
love
so?
the image of him eating cereal powered up. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
He got that little spoon.
Yeah, I still think that was supposed to be a joke where it's right in front of you.
And
There it is.
And the funniest thing also is how, like, I thought what also was kind of funny is like Colossus and Negasonic first get to Deadpool. They're in the Blackbird, and then they got to drive to the place without the Blackbird. I'm like, they could have just took the Blackbird, right? It's just that just made me. I'm like, really?
Oh no, it's the Blackbird's there. It's actually there when they're walking away. You see them dragging Wade, and the Blackbird's right there actually.
Really?
So,
No,
yeah,
I'm talking about.
it's actually
at the
You're
end.
talking about the
I'm talking
the
about
final-
the end, the final
leading
scene.
to the
Like
oh,
they,
okay.
it could have
Okay,
just
gotcha. Okay.
instead of having Depender take him.
Okay, gotcha.
But other than that, I
makes
really
sense.
didn't have too many nitpicks. It's just like it is what it is.
Yeah,
and
mine
even
too.
the nitpicks,
Problem.
and even the
Oh, go ahead,
nitpicks
sorry.
that I have, they don't really hurt me too much. It's like it is what it is.
I knew that like they don't ruin the movie, but does anyone mind me going first after Chris or?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Okay, mine too, probably no one will agree with me on. I don't know if we really, I'm 50-50 on it. Like I said, these things don't ruin the movie. I'm very 50-50 mixed on the idea of Deadpool, where Deadpool's name comes from. It just happens to be this betting thing. I don't know if I really like that. I don't know. Like, I'm still 50-50 on like, oh, of course, we have to have an origin for where it comes from. I don't know.
That's kind of how he got his name in the comics because because they had a bet, their betting pool in Weapon X on which experiments would survive, and it's called the Deadpool, so that's why he got the name Deadpool.
or Captain Deadpool.
Yeah, Captain.
Or Scaredevil, as he said, Scaredevil.
I don't know. That's just really weird. Like it's like like the tab like for betting is like we got the Deadpool up. I don't know, but if it's in the comics, that's fine.
I'll tell you. I'll say this much, Kyle. It's better than how they did it in the comedy.
Oh god, yeah, like Weapon 11, they call him like the Deadpool or some shit like that. But the next one, I know a lot of people won't agree with me on. I get he does it in the comics, but I've heard there's been an explanation for it, and I feel like they could have explained it here, and it would have been reasonable. The fourth wall breaking. I feel like the fourth wall breaking is just there because Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, and it's fine, but I wish we could have had a reasoning for why it's there, because you could have simply said after all that time in that where he was being tortured, he just kind of slipped a little bit crazy, kind of mentally. I mean, because I'm pretty sure being in that place is going to fuck with you physically and mentally. You're not coming out of there, okay, basically. I know I've heard people say that in the comics there's like Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. They explain that. I'm not a Deadpool fan, like I said. I don't know anything, so I'm not an expert, but it's just like, it just is just there because Deadpool breaks the fourth wall, and it's just like, I don't know. I wish it was there for a little bit more of a reason. I mean, if they explain that in the sequel, but if they don't, it's either way. It's not a problem. It's just like, I kind of wish you would have explained it because, I don't know, it's just there, because he does it in the comics. That's just my thing. I know no one's going to agree with me on that, but.
I kind of took the I, I kind of took the breaking the fourth wall kind of like how in Wayne's World. 'Cause in Wayne's World, they broke the fourth. They would talk to us.
Yeah, Wayne's World.
And
It kind of
in
reminded me
Wayne's
of
World,
that.
they would talk
Yeah,
to us.
Wayne and Garth
They
was
would
talking
narrate.
to us as the audience. Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, I like Wayne's World.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, what?
Hey, what's that?
Hey, yeah. Yeah. Or just leave it off the
Because he
screen.
was scared.
Yeah, it's like so.
I don't have a lot to say. Hey, what's that?
You don't forget. Don't forget. Hey, look, girl, it's your girlfriend.
Hey, Garth, look at your girlfriend. I gotta go watch Wayne's World now.
Well, there's a couple of there's been a couple of or one a new fan of Deadpool seeing the post credit scene with the Ferris with
Oh, you
with
just
Ferris
talking about that.
We didn't actually talk about that one.
No, I'm just saying that seeing that they might. Oh, well, I know Ferris Bueller. He's another character that broke the fourth wall. He would talk to us.
Yeah.
So I guess Deadpool is another character like that.
Yeah, I thought you were going to do the other post because we'll talk about that other post credit. The
I
Ferris.
don't know. It's just like, how does he know he's in a movie? It's always that's just the thing. I mean, I mean, you can say there's all these movies. That's fine. Like I said, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's like I wish it was like just you could have had an easy explanation. It's like okay.
Oh yeah,
I
get what you're saying. They could have just at least put in they could have at least in like a throwaway line, like he went nuts in the program or whatever. Yeah, I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah, like I said, it's not a bad thing, but Go ahead. Whoever was talking.
Anybody else?
I only have one nitpick for real, and my one nitpick is that Vanessa has that line about how she's never played damsel in distress, but for the most part of this movie, she was damsel in distress. So I was like, Vanessa, you contradicting yourself a lot here, but I still like you as a character. I'm just saying, you were damsel in distress for a good minute in this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, go ahead.
I got three small nitpicks, but like you said, they're nitpicks, and it's still a great movie. Just few little things that bug me. One goes back to Vanessa. I just wish there was at least some other nod to her in the comics, like even if it was just after being in oxygen, she got a little rogue white hair.
She already had the white hair though.
What is iZombie?
Yeah, she already had the white hair, like streaks of it, but yeah.
Kind of like Rose, like how she got it in the next one.
Or like maybe her skin got blue, but in the way that a normal skin gets blue without oxygen.
I think she dyes her hair because if you look at the sex montage, she has white hair in bits and pieces of it, but she changes her hair all the time.
But like I said, it was a small nitpick.
I kind of wouldn't have wanted to do that rogue crap. How she got the white hair. I hated that.
Oh yeah, I did
how
too.
She got the white hair. Rogue. When she was holding on to Magneto's little machine and her hair started turning white.
Yeah, I get you, but
yeah.
I just meant like as a nod, but anyway, other stuff has to do with like the bad guys and all. One is just it's kind of obvious, but part of me wishes that maybe Ajax was a more complex character. And the last thing is just I wish there was more explanation about the organization that turned him. Like they didn't even confirm whether or not it was Weapon X or what it was. I did hear a rumor that said that in the original they were going to have Killbrew running things, but they didn't think that was necessary.
Yeah, I think if I was to have a nitpick, I think it would be one of Brian's that
Weapon X.
No, for Ajax is just certain purpose, but then and what makes it not a nitpick is that I guess I wasn't expecting him to be a villain because I was just expecting I remember when Guardians of the Galaxy came out. And I had not seen Guardians of the Galaxy until now. been like since a month ago. I finally saw all the way through. And I remember immediately everybody was talking about wow, who's the Ronan the accuser, how
Waste.
was a waste and everything, and most people was just taking it as, well, you can tell that this one was mostly all about the gang. So I guess they kind of gave it a pass or so. So I guess in this case with Deborah, like, yeah, I would have liked Ajax to be a little bit more, even more, a little bit threatening. Besides when he had
Vanessa.
No, not when he had Wade basically defenseless in Weapon X.
Say money.
Yeah, just that. Like, okay, you have him defenseless. So okay, of course you're in control, but when he's not, it's like, what can you really do to him? But yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I guess you gotta give it a little bit of a free, because like this was mostly Deadpool was the shining act. While I guess you can say Colossus was the breakout star. Wow.
Him and Negasonic.
Yeah, they were the breakout stars. So
Yep.
I think the other thing is, let's talk about that last end credit where he basically announced that there's a sequel and Mr. Nathaniel Summers is going to be in it. Otherwise known as
Cord.
Cord. The name's Cable.
And then you got Stephen Lang on Twitter. It's time to lay some cable. I was like, Stephen Lang.
You had Stephen Lang basically right after that go on Twitter and show the guns and was like,
although I laughed at him, I'm like, you're flexing the wrong arm, right? That's your robot arm.
Yeah. I mean,
look how strong my robot biceps are.
Get out of here, man. All right, first of all, let's talk about that for a while, because Cable being in the movie now, it also now starts to, with Cable, it's like we all know who Cable is, son he is,
and especially how heavy connected he is to Apocalypse, and Apocalypse is coming in the next movie also, so that makes a lot of sense.
Also to the point, they'll probably change the origin of Cable a little bit, instead of him being like son of Cyclops and Madame Pial, Jean's clone.
It'll probably just be regular Jean.
Yeah, it'll be probably Jean. And more importantly is the fact that, it's just we're talking about the future, and probably by putting Cable in this builds up to the X-Force movie probably.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I gotta form this team. But the fact is, we're talking about Cable, and I don't think, and there's all this talk of like maybe gender swapping him, making it a female, and all these fan casting for him already. And I swear to God, if I keep seeing freaking Kevin Nash, I'm gonna throw up, because that guy cannot play Cable. He can't walk. That's all he's gonna be like. Deadpool, I come from the future, and Wolfpack in the house and shit.
No, it's gonna be Deadpool. We got some bad guy.
And knowing that Cable is probably gonna be a physical role, and what did I just say? This guy can't walk.
For those of you that don't know,
who are not wrestling fans,
all right, Kevin Nash has had the injury bug with his knees.
How many times?
And let me count. He's had 27 knee surgeries.
27.
Damn.
So there's only so much mobility. And not only that, he's 7 foot tall. So your mobility is already kind of limited whether how athletic you are. But having 27 knee surgeries, that really limits your mobility.
He's yes, okay, I get it. To a lot of people, he's big and things like, but Cable is not no 7 foot man. He's not.
Wolverine was not a 6 foot man.
Yeah, but still, you don't want to make Cable that big. I don't want him being that big. And plus, other than that, okay, yes, Kevin Nash has played Super Shredder. He's been the Russian. and he's been in those Channing Tatum movies when they're strippers and
Magic Mike.
Magic Mike and stuff. I don't know why he's in that,
But he's big sexy.
big sexy my ass. Okay, but the fact is, yeah, that's his name.
That was one of his.
I know,
that was one of his
Wow.
nicknames.
But the fact is that no, I cannot see Kevin Nash as Cable. No, I don't want to see you know, or him with a vacant stare like he usually has.
Tell us how you really feel, Chris.
And can I point out something about Cable?
Sure.
This goes to why it might not be good for Stephen Lang or Kevin Nash. Is they're hoping that Cable can spin off into X-Force and maybe do an X-Force franchise. You need someone that could maybe be a little bit younger and could survive like 10 years playing the character.
Survive 10 years, he's going to be actually in battle. Get out of here, Deadpool. Oh, man, that'd be great in the X-Force movie. Deadpool can't swear because it's PG-13. And he's like, God, what was, did someone just censor me? What the was that?
Yeah.
Did you guys just fucking beat me? What the?
Yeah.
No.
I think they're actually gearing for the X-Force movie to be
R-rated.
rated R.
Yeah,
They're going.
Just like
Okay,
Wolverine.
since we're on the R-rated topic, I want to bring something up really quick.
Go ahead.
So about the whole R-rated thing. So we got to talk about Wolverine really quick and how they're pushing for Wolverine to be rated R. I'm really first of all, yeah, it's about damn time. Let's go ahead and get a Wolverine movie where he's not neutered and he can cut people up. But how would you guys feel? Because there are a lot of rumors going around about this. Because they're trying to do Old Man Logan. So one of the workarounds they're doing is instead of using Hawkeye as Logan's second on this buddy road trip thing, they're thinking about using Old Man Deadpool as
Oh man, I thought we were gonna do Charles Xavier. I would have loved it where he's a bit more loopy, he's a bit older, and he's a little bit more funny. Or he's like, "Get me out of here, Wolverine." Okay.
Yeah, I kept hearing the fact that his last performance is supposed to showcase more of the friendship between Xavier and Wolverine in this one.
Which is important because we really need to close a lot of that up because if this is like Wolverine going away for like the rest of the X-Men franchise, we really need to close up that relationship with those two characters. And if it's Old Man Logan we are officially doing, I can understand the R-rated stuff. Like, I don't need Wolverine to be R-rated. I just care about a story. I mean, Wolverine had a story, but it's like if you're going to do Old Man Logan, it's got to be rated R because it's like, yeah, you're not fucking
the Wolverine itself was a good movie up until the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes is what killed that movie for me.
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, yeah, that's just the thing is like, I'm fine with if the last one's rated R for that reason. And yeah, I'd be more fine with Charles Xavier just to close it out. But if Deadpool's like hanging out with him, like a third wheel.
I think Deadpool would be really cool as like for like a a buddy trio type of thing. It's like, how you doing, Chuck? It's like
that'd be so funny. Just like Deadpool talking, and it's like you got Logan. Shut the fuck up, Wade. Like, you shut the fuck up. No, you shut the fuck up. Like, and I would love if Wade, like, hey, you notice how you're able to say fuck a lot more than you usually can, because this is really hard.
I think one of the major points is that the fact that, I've said this before and I kind of meant it, was where I meant it when I said it, because it's like, I'm hoping that now, just because of the success of Deadpool, and let's face it, there has been other rated R comic movies in the past. The problem is that they were never really acknowledged. I mean, you've seen all these memes of, The Crow and Blade and all that. But if you got to remember, guys, when Blade came out, it was never acknowledged. A Marvel comic based off the Marvel comic, you had to really look for it.
Yep.
The credit.
And also, that was back in the day when superhero movies weren't as big as they are now.
Yeah.
We were still trying to get out of that Batman and Robin phase.
Exactly.
And only the other Crow. in between the Crow and Blade, you had Spawn.
You had Spawn,
And
right?
the difference between
Was that rated R?
No, it wasn't. It was PG. No,
No, it
Spawn was
wasn't.
PG-13.
It was
Spawn was
PG.
PG-13.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So,
Um,
kind of shocking.
Yes. And then of course, and then they did the Punishers, and then, and those were rated R. Yeah, the Thomas J movie was rated R. Yeah, but and I still find that very underrated. But
Or
go on.
or might say, cause I even saw some, but our good friend Craig, he put up the picture of a Blade, and he got Blade like I made all of a sudden Deadpool comes out, all of a sudden people forget that my movie is rated R, and then one might put out, but was the Blade movie the first as successful as the Deadpool movie did,
Right?
And don't forget,
And the funniest part is Ryan Reynolds was in Blade too.
And don't forget, in the past couple of years, rated R action flicks have been known not to bring in as much as PG-13 action flicks.
Yeah.
It used to be back in the 80s and 90s, when mostly every action flick, especially if it was a cop, buddy cop or cop, was rated R. Yeah, those are bringing the big, like from your Die Hard, your Lethal Weapons, your Beverly Hills Cops. But then there came a point where, after a while, rated R action flick, we're not bringing the big bucks. But PG-13 action flick, we're bringing the big bucks. So for Deadpool to do that, it does speak volumes.
It does speak
okay,
volumes,
this is an action comedy that's rated R.
But the thing is that you also, from the point of view, is like, you don't now necessarily need to be stamping that R rating on every movie.
So basically what you're saying, look at success because it was letting Deadpool be Deadpool, not look at the success because it was rated R.
Exactly, because from rumor has it now, there's an R-rated version of Batman versus Superman.
Oh,
it's going to be
actually, Chris, that's not a rumor. That's actual real. They've announced that on the DVD, on like the DVD and Blu-ray, there will be the Ultimate Edition, which is the director's cut, which will be R-rated.
Yeah, and knowing Zack Snyder, if you look up Watchmen on Amazon, there's like 5 different versions. The dude loves director's cuts. I mean, I'm okay with it being rated R because Batman's like branding people, and I'm assuming there'll be some Wonder Woman stuff, but I know it's violence. I just hope nothing involving Superman, because I don't know. I don't know.
I really hope that it's not like Superman lasering somebody's face off or something.
Like I know someone's gonna be like, well, Superman's been dark in the comics. Like I'm not a Superman aficionado. I don't know everything about that character, but from what I do know, I'm pretty damn sure he's never went rated R where you see him rip off Lex Luthor's head, unless
we're talking about like an Elseworld story or something. Yeah, you're definitely.
But if we're just talking Superman, like normal Superman, But I mean, I'm fine with it if it's just the Batman stuff and like Wonder Woman because she's a warrior. It's just like, for me, it's like as long as it's just. I mean, your rated R movie should be on the character and the passion. That's my thing. It's like don't sell it on just because it's rated R. I mean, that's the thing. It's the character I cared about.
If DC wants to make a rated R a freaking superhero movie, you got one that would work perfectly. That would be in the right in the vein of Deadpool. We lost Chris. Hopefully they'll come back because I don't want to cut out the lives are cut out. But Lobo would work perfectly.
Lobo. And we had the perfect actor for Lobo, but then he got cast as Aquaman.
He's playing Aquaman. The perfect actor who could have played Lobo is stuck playing Aquaman. So,
like I said, we're not trying to bash. I'm not trying to bash or anything like that. I'm just saying it's a bit weird, but I mean, I'm just hoping studios don't just piggyback off of this and just say rated R. If it's rated R and it's superhero, don't do that.
I totally agree with what James Gunn said on Twitter.
I just want to say, sorry.
It was cool. It was basically, I was just gonna say, I agree with what James Gunn said on Twitter, where he's like, I hope that the studios just keep taking the wrong message away from stuff. Like when Guardians came out, and he said. and he says, I blame myself for this too because this was my fault in a way because I did this. But after Guardians came out and it was so successful, every trailer decided to be like Guardians of the Galaxy, where you got action pieces and you got the quips with the gang, and then you got like an '80s pop song.
Well,
Like,
Yeah, but I just wanted to say
Star
that
Trek Young.
that personally for me, I know Batman can be a more brutal character, but I just don't want. And I personally don't see the trinity of the DC universe being R-rated, and
I see
that's
2 out of 3.
that's just personal taste for me. But Kyle can tell you that I got a little animated when I first found out about it being R-rated, there being an R-rated cut. But the thing that got me the most is that there's an R-rated cut of Batman versus Superman, their first encounter, but yet Suicide Squad. The name is
That's what I'm.
Suicide
Oh my
Squad.
god!
It's not R-rated.
I was.
That's
I'm telling-
see that's what that's what we kind of mean is like if you're going to use that rating, it really should mean something.
I'm
As
telling you,
well as,
David Ayer is kicking himself in the head. He's like, man, it's like I really wish I could have made it rated. I could have blown somebody's head off with a fucking microchip. Like,
Who knows? The movie's a couple of months from coming on. I mean, I don't mean to bring it up, but Fantastic Four had a lot of reshoots. So we could have maybe some reshoots for that movie. I mean,
I would be totally cool if they delayed Suicide Squad just so they could make it a rated R movie because it fits more.
These are villains. They're supposed to be bad. They're supposed to be worse than Deadpool because they're supposed to be villains.
Well,
And also, if you could throw in a Harley Quinn sex scene, all
They're
right,
not-
let's go ahead and do that.
Maybe something, Jay, maybe something like the Suicide Squad animated movie.
Yes, I'll take that. I'll take that.
But
I would definitely take
you gonna
it.
say something else?
I just don't like the fact of the sign of hope, the signs of hope and peace are rated.
the only reason for why I could see Batman versus Superman being rated R is because they're already going with Frank Miller's Batman.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Which
yeah.
was already on the darker side. That's the only reason for why I see it be rated. I only see it because of Batman. An example of that, I always said, if he was to make a rated R movie of a certain character, and not because of the main character, because of a certain character in it, I've always said, if you was to do a Spider-Man movie, and you had Carnage be the main villain, and you wanted Carnage to be Carnage, it'll only be rated R because of Carnage, not because of
Exactly.
Spider-Man's going to do, or what Mary Jane's going to do, or what Jay Jones is going to do. Well, it made me put rated R for graphic violence. Why? Because what Carnage would do.
it probably would do that for Craven.
Yeah, like it's like that. That's why I almost see, because you're gonna see Spider-Man when he first rub it. Hey, motherfucker, coming in, kick. It's like,
It's like Spidey in the house.
Well, technically, Malcolm, then we would basically be adapting the Bat in the Sun Spider-Man, which, Bat in the Sun, they love to have their Marvel characters look like villains, but I mean,
he killed Batman. He freaking like tortured him. Remember how they did the Spider-Man with Batman, and he webbed?
No, that was
Darth Maul.
That was Death Battle.
Death Battle. You're talking about when he killed Darth Maul. He turned into Black Spider-Man. He had the symbiote.
Yeah, I mean, also, I was saying, Malcolm, it could be rated R. Of course, it's for violence, maybe for Wonder Woman because she's a warrior. It looks like she's got her new 52.
I could totally see Wonder Woman being like a 300 style rated R, where she's cutting monsters' heads off and just doing
Or
all
stabbing
that.
into like Doomsday and all that, like stabbing into him and all that. I could
Yeah, like she does what she did with Darkseid in the comics, where she stabbed his eyes out. That'd be pretty cool. I mean,
What was it? Batman wasn't Arkham Knight rated M?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, why is
yeah,
this,
it was
why
like
is this game rated M?
mostly it was because of, like, some of the things was mostly, I think, like, we saw Joker literally get burnt. Like, I don't know if you'd see that, like, in a PG-13 movie.
And honestly, they straight up said this is we made it rated M because this was the vision we had, and that's the whole point. Like, if you have an actual idea that's supposed to be rated R, that's fine.
Yeah,
But don't just make it rated R for the sake of being rated R.
Also, on the flip
Right.
side, sorry,
I've been having
I
like
just-
some stupid nagging call.
I just wanted to say on the flip side, though, the opposite of what Jay's saying, though, they shouldn't have to take, like, if their vision is R-rated, the city shouldn't have to tell them to go and edit it to be PG-13, because we've had that happen.
Yep. Look at Die Hard. Look what happened to Die Hard.
Well, don't forget, Die Hard, well, with the later Die, but don't forget, Live Free or Die Hard, which I think was the last good Die. I have not seen the Die that came after, but look, I remember when me and Chris, when we went to go see Live Free or Die Hard, I remember even before we went to go see it, they had the poster, and they had the rating. And I was like, wait, PG-13? I'm just like, wait, Die Hard is always rated R. But we went in there, we still enjoyed it, but we can tell, okay, probably there's an unrated or rated R version.
Got it.
And yeah, we got the unrated version.
I wanted to answer this question because
I just want to say,
go ahead.
And Live Free or Die Hard was like, I think it was the first movie where I actually heard of the whole deal. Was we made it, we put the PG-13 version in movie because that was sub records lately. That's when I first heard, PG-13 actually was doing better than rated R movies. That's when I first heard it from Live Free or Die Hard.
Yeah, with Die Hard, yeah, that's true.
Okay, this is what I really wanted to kind of get on because somebody, I think Vernus asked a question.
Something about Deadpool's rogues gallery.
Yeah, he doesn't have a big rogues gallery, but I'm trying to.
You kind of say that Deadpool would be a kind of, in terms of the movie verse, where you could actually be okay with making original villains.
Making original villains or bringing in ex-villains.
Yeah, lower tier.
Not like how Arrow's been doing with the Batman villains. But
yeah, like kind of do the Jessica Jones thing where it's like Purple Man's more of a Daredevil villain, but it works for Jessica Jones as well.
Honestly, you know what villain would work really well for Deadpool, especially because of his whole experimentation thing. Fucking Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister.
I kind of think they're saving Sinister for the Gambit movie.
I'm still saying.
I'm
still saying Jeremy on it. That's Sinister.
I think. Vernus, you over there saying Strike Back. I remember him.
Wait, Strike Back. He has to wait for you to attack before he hits you.
No.
Let's get Hit Monkey in a Deadpool movie. That would be pretty funny.
I wouldn't. You know who else I probably wouldn't mind? Tom Cassidy. Black Tom.
That'd
be funny. I can't hurt you until you hit me back.
Oh,
yeah, it's like,
I just thought of something. Villain. A villain. Black Swan.
Huh.
We might want
are you talking about the Hickman villain, Black Swan, or are you talking about like?
Who is the guy?
You're talking about Celeste.
Who's the guy with the?
I'm talking about like the mutant hitman.
Oh, you're talking about Cyber?
Yeah,
that's Wolverine's villain.
Yeah, did he actually have a psychological effect on him?
He was at one point. He was the only guy Wolverine was scared of.
Oh my god!
Didn't last too long.
What if they? How would you feel if they brought in Dr. Bong?
Dr. Bong.
We might.
I'm trying to remember those twins that Deadpool was fighting a lot. Those crazy twin sisters
that were not from The Shining.
No, they were sick.
They were like assassin schoolgirls.
Yeah, assassin school. Yeah, them.
Typical.
I don't remember their names, but
what the hell were their names?
He killed one, and the other one became psychotic.
I know who you're talking about. This is gonna bother me now. Shit. Where's my phone?
You know, it'd be crazy that the villain for a Deadpool movie, it's just Ultimate Deadpool.
You know, one thing I was actually kind of surprised we didn't. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. One thing I was kind of surprised with this movie because I'm assuming there's no one watching our show right now because it's 1 a.m. So I'm assuming we're probably going to answer a lot of comments before we head off. But one thing I was really surprised with, we didn't really roast on Barakapool enough because I was kind of imagining the end credit scene would probably be Deadpool beating up Barakapool. Like, yeah, you think you could beat him?
Oh,
Like,
you talking about how when they did the I forgot who did. I mean, Toho did the last Godzilla movie before they did the remake now, where they actually had the
1990.
1990s Godzilla fight, original Godzilla. He beat the crap out of it.
yeah, like
I
you
would have
remember
liked.
the end
I would have
credit
liked.
scene?
I would have liked them to see it like as like a setting up like a Mortal Kombat type of thing, where like they play it like it's a video game, and
You
they have
remember,
like
Hey,
you
I
remember
know,
the, sorry.
I know. I wouldn't see it as like the ultimate baddie, but I would kind of maybe in like a sequel like to see him maybe go up against Juggernaut.
I think Madcap could also work as a villain for Deadpool
Because
because
they actually,
Madcap is one of the voices for Deadpool, so I think it could work as Madcap could work as one of the villains.
yeah, I was just saying Juggernaut because
Bob,
the creator said that if they had their way, they do
he's
Deadpool versus
like
Hulk.
really weird. He's
Huh.
Oh, man, that'd be so funny, the end credit scene. I was thinking.
Rap.
yeah. We're gonna wrap it up. Yeah. I'm trying to figure. Man, see now I know those twins are getting on my nerves now. I can't. What if they put Agent X in it? I wouldn't mind seeing him.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
In Origins or no?
No, not who's supposed to be. Not that guy.
Oh,
It was
okay.
supposed to be Maverick. That was supposed to be Maverick. I'm talking about.
I got one. I got fan casting for you for Agent X. What if they brought in Aaron Paul
That would be cool. Aaron Paul.
from Breaking Bad?
Oh yeah. That'd be great. I love Aaron Paul.
Okay.
That would be pretty awesome.
Any
Another X-Men villain, another Weapon X villain that I could totally see Deadpool going up against, and his buddy Colossus could team up with him to take him down because this guy's also from Mother Russia. Omega Ran. Let's get Omega Ran.
Oh yeah.
I would like to see a Mega Random movie.
I thought you were going to go with. I thought you were going to go with Colossus. Colossus is the older brother, Mika.
That would be good too.
Oh, that would be good too.
I thought you got. See now I gotta find these twins now, man.
Or if you wanna
Edit this and put it up there, the twins.
Look, see there go Vanessa. That's copycat right there. There you go. I'm gonna find them right now.
If you want to talk about siblings, what they could do is they could bring in Betsy and have her brother as a villain.
Huh.
Which one? The older brother?
Are you talking about the one that goes crazy during X-Force, or?
Yeah.
And they all
I'm talking about him, not Brian.
right?
I'm talking about the one that's not Brian.
Yeah, I think you're talking. I think his name was like Billy, or
One that's not Brian.
I know you're talking about Mad Jasper. I know you're talking.
I just got the irony of me saying a character that's not Brian and like
There you go. I got it. The Switchblade Sisters. There we go. I got them.
Switchblade Switch.
the Switchblade Sisters.
Oh
Try saying
man,
that
that would be so funny. Just Deadpool, like, man, I don't want to kill you guys. You're so fucking hot. Like, shut up, kill him.
I would have. What I would like to see, like they're like in Girl Scout uniforms, and like they're like pretending to deliver cookies.
I think he also said T-Ray. T-Ray may work. Taskmaster. He can't be used.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember her name.
Marvel got him.
Hey.
Maybe the director. That could be good too.
I can see that. He's not the director of the movie, by the way.
No.
Hey, I can't remember her name, but what about that female mobster chick from Agency X? The one that tricks them into thinking that her husband is abusive.
I know who you're talking about. Shit.
She'd be good.
But other than that, I think we're gonna definitely wrap this bad boy up. Let me make sure anybody any more questions. I think that's it.
It's like about to go on to 1:30.
Man, that's never stopped us before.
Not us, but viewers, yeah.
Never stopped us before.
I know.
But those are definitely. Other than that, it was another good one, another solid movie. Basically, for me, one superhero movie down, 7 more to go.
Yep.
Out of the eight superhero movies that are coming out for 2016, one down, 8 more to go. 7 more to go. 6 more to go for me.
Seven,
You know what?
7 for me because I'm actually going to see the other one that Chris refuses to see.
You're such a
Oh.
Jeremy, but
I say 8 more because we got the Justice League versus Teen Titans.
I'm considering more live action.
Well, animated is a separate category. I feel so like.
I
But-
guess maybe.
I find it crazy, and growing up back in the 2000s, that guys just think we have 12 superhero movies in the span of this year and next, like 12 to 14. That's insane. When I was growing up, and God, I'm almost 20. It was like we got one superhero movie, then you got to wait like 2-3 years for the next one or another one. It's like now we're getting like 6 to 7 of these, and it's just like, God damn, like that's insane. Like whether they're all, if they're bad or whatever, I feel privileged. Like you're living in a superhero renaissance.
This is a great time to be alive, to be a geek, man.
I think I've said it before. I made this announcement when I broke down all the movies, the superhero movies. I said Deadpool is going to be the first to bat, and I look at the superhero movies as a baseball team, and we the fans are the opposite. We're the ones that are seeing if they're going to make a hit or miss. And I've said it before that Deadpool is going to be a home run regardless. Right away I said that. And home run derby there. So Deadpool hit a home run, and he brought in. Now we got March coming, and right around the corner now we got Superman and Batman now up to bat.
And we've got Daredevil also on the heels of that.
And also, someone pointed this out to me. This is like the year of hero versus hero.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's like
This is a big year for hero misunderstandings. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing it, and that's like, it's like, I'm not gonna lie. After this year, we need to really chill out on that. Like, I'm fine with Daredevil fighting Punisher and all that, because Punisher's more of an anti-hero to me. But it's like after this year, we need to really chill out a little bit with it, because in their comics, like they're doing like an Avengers standoff, which I've looked at solicitation stuff. Avengers versus Avengers. I'm like, but you have Civil War 2, so it's like that doesn't make sense.
Well, apparently.
Well, standoff is the prelude to Civil War 2.
Okay. Well, then again, I'm not reading any of the Avengers titles anymore, except for the.
Apparently, they say that.
I don't care.
That Civil War, the movie, will drastically change the cinematic universe forever.
Well, I think it should.
It's a big one.
Because I mean, the comic sure as hell didn't. I mean.
Well, it did for a little bit. Marvel
but it didn't stick. You know what I mean? Like it was
that's
there.
true with a lot of Marvel events, though. Like the only one that really stick for me was AVX. Like that's still there. It's continuously stuck.
Can I go ahead and predict that part of this big change that changes it forever is more than one Avenger team?
Probably.
Are we? Is this still live?
I think the fact is we're gonna close this out, and for all who's watched and haven't seen Devil, go see it. We recommend it definitely.
Don't take your kids to see it. Do not take your kids to see it.
Okay. Seriously, I saw a bunch of little 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds in the theater. I was like, what the hell, parents? Did you not see Deadpool getting fucked with a dildo in this movie? Like, you could have really told your kids about that.
Oh, really quick. There was a thing that went online of Ryan Reynolds talking about an interview, and he's like, to all the kids who are watching this at home, why the hell are you watching this?
Yeah,
Well,
like I know a lot of parents.
Your parents are obviously bad people, and blah blah blah. I saw that. That was hilarious.
But
Yeah,
other than
I
that,
know a lot of parents are upset about that, but you know, you got like all the other superhero movies we got this year, and you've had for the past decade are all PG-13. So it's not. It's like so when you miss out on one, your kid can watch it when they're 18 or older. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, it's a great rite of passage kind of thing. I remember. I mean, you can't tell me when you were little you didn't sneak into or at least watch
No,
an R-rated movie behind like your parents'
no.
back or whatever.
I didn't watch rated R movies behind my dad's back. I just watched them. The first first movie I remember seeing was Speed, and that was rated R. And I did okay because he at least knew but Malcolm's not gonna go out in the street there. Hey, I'm gonna get on this bus and I'm gonna ride this with there's a bomb on it.
Yeah,
I think that
and I never snuck. I never snuck, but that's because I had a really cool mom who let me watch it with her.
I think the point of view is that we make.
Now I just feel like a bad kid. Shit.
I think the point of view, guys, that we're making that we're trying to make is like, if you're gonna take your kids to see this movie, then you gotta have some common sense. You know, like this is not a typical superhero movie. It's not. Yeah, it's a guy in a costume, but it's not that. It's not really for.
Yeah, I
kids.
mean, Marvel's logo is on the poster, but that does not mean that this is gonna be like a Marvel movie.
I mean, it's just like it's just the basic. But the fact is that we enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're gonna sign off, guys. And as
We'll
always,
probably.
they take us out. As always, what's that line you'd like to say?
All right, well, like I always say, once a comic book geek, always a comic book geek, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Bye.